This is the MLW Radio Network.
Welcome, everybody, to the Mind of the Meanie, your weekly peek into the world according to former WWE superstar and ECW original, the Blue Meanie. We'll cover wrestling, music, movies, sports, and lots of useless knowledge, all contained in the Mind of the Meanie. I am your tour guide, Josh Shernoff, and he is the Blue Meanie. What's on your mind?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I know it was a couple days ago, but this is our first show of the new year, so Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to your family. Happy New Year to the Pod Squad.
Likewise.
Yeah, man. It was good. It was a nice, chill night, you know. Hung out with Donnie and Bev and rung in the new year and drank it till I passed out, woke up, and spent all the next day with a hangover until we did the thing for ad-free shows where we did a promo for the new That Was Extreme show that we're doing over there.
Could you imagine? That Was Extreme dropped at 9 a.m. New Year's. Could you imagine if Conrad had just been like, hey, could you guys do it live? That would have been an experience.
That would have been like the scene in Anchorman the night after the party, and they're in the office room, and Brian Fantana's going, I am hungover, and just chugging a pot of coffee.
Hey, speaking of a pot of coffee, so I've got this in this amazing Eagles mug that keeps my coffee. My coffee will still be hot when the show is over if I haven't had it all to drink. I went to grab some seltzer. I'm all out.
You motherfucker.
I am all out.
Well, this has been the last show of Mind of the Meanie.
We made a deal with each other that when we ran out of seltzer, that would be the end of the podcast. So I'm sorry, everybody.
Well, I got a thermos too. So
that's what I've heard.
Yeah. It says Bubba.
Bubba. All right.
But yeah,
Meanie's got a firm grip on Bubba's thermos, and welcome to a new year. We promised each other.
Bubba happy. Bubba real happy.
Oh. So, hey, a couple of quick things that I want to say. I want to say happy birthday this coming Thursday to Patreon member Sean Jones.
Yes, sir.
And I also want to say happy birthday today as you hear this on Monday. Happy birthday to the Doctor of Merch, Andy Slichter.
Slichter! Happy birthday.
No less of an important birthday than Sean Jones or anyone else having one, but it happens to fall on the day this is airing. So I want to just put him over because it's his birthday, and because he just does so much for us. Andy Slichter, for those of you who might be tuning in, like the first couple of, maybe this is your first episode with us. If that's the case, we're sorry for how we started it. And we hope you'll stick with us. Slichter, we call him the Dr. Merch. He does all of our graphics from I want to say episode 4 on. In the beginning, there were some things that we were doing or outsourcing elsewhere. TTD did some stuff for us. He does some great things for the Major Pod and stuff like that. But very quickly, we discovered one Andy Slichter when he slid into my DMs with a
gentle slide.
Yeah, a gentle slide with a little a
little George Michael playing in the background.
Yeah, it was what he slid in with was rather graphic. It was a graphic he had created. So Slichter and I, we knew each other from when he had come to my show and soldiered through the Bill Apter episode. And it was just so great to be able to now, after, I haven't seen the dude in a year, but so great to be able to, become friends and have him working with us on this show. He is such an important part of the show. all the graphics that you see for the most part, except for anything that Meanie and I are wearing or is currently on the screen right now.
Yeah.
But everything else is Andy Slichter, and we really appreciate it. He also, and this is the great transition into talking about what we did yesterday as we record this. Slichter also created the logo for That Was Extreme.
Yes, he did.
And has since started creating merchandise for that show as well that he just sent us.
That's before you get to the one you sent me this morning. Like as you're talking to him, I have the case of the giggles because I'm just thinking of the graphic you sent me that he did this morning.
Yeah.
And
I actually even had to ask him, I'm like, this is awesome. What's it referencing? I couldn't even remember. And then when he told me, I was like, oh man, that's amazing.
He pays attention more to the show than we do.
100%.
But I got to put over Slichter real quick too, and then please continue your.
Hey, you've been putting people over your whole career. Why stop now, right?
Oh, why not, man? I could tell you the fucking lights in every single major arena in the building. I got the head count. But no, so I like you said in the beginning, we had the other company doing our graphics and stuff like that, and then Andy started doing our stuff, and what I love about Andy's work, besides his work is flawless and fantastic, he gives us our own voice in the style of merchandise. Like, I liked the early stuff, but it also looked like somebody else's merchandise, like it looked like another podcast merchandise. Here we have a Mind of the Meanie look. And it's to look specific to our podcast, and it gives us a voice and stuff like that, and everything's immediate because he's right there.
Yeah, well,
he'll have something for this show. He'll have something for this show by the time the show ends.
You know the old adage, when you refuse
it's kind of like
somebody.
Spaceballs when they're watching each other. It's like Spaceballs when they're watching themselves. When's this? This is now.
Yes.
And they're like looking behind each other. Slichter's that quick with the graphics.
Yeah, no, he's doing an amazing job. There's a story on That Was Extreme, which is available now for free over at adfreeshows.com. Myself, Meanie, and Joel Gertner. So please check it out. There's a story where Gertner, or I guess Meanie told the story of Gertner just reading this super long license plate number and then just saying, that person's blocking the entrance because there was such a light house. Basically nobody showing up, so he was popping
your license plate is blocking the entrance to the building.
Yeah.
Please move your car.
So Andy made this awesome extra long license plate, and there are a couple of little like Easter eggs in there too, like the stickers. Like, I'm pretty sure that was the date on the sticker was from Barely Legal, and like it was
nice.
It was really cool. So just an awesome job, and we will have a new ProWrestlingTees.com/thatwasextreme. Hopefully, is up by the time you guys are listening to this.
I definitely want that one.
Yeah. Oh no. absolutely. So happy birthday, Dr. Merch, Andy Slichter. But yeah, Meanie, let's talk a little bit about how we kind of kick things off. We ended the year over on my show, So says Shernoff. We did the Shernie Awards on Fight TV. Definitely go check that out if you haven't. I offended a lot of people. And let's just say Dave Meltzer is a Shernie Award winner at this point. So,
in more ways than one.
Yeah. Well, so we ended the year counting down, myself, Meanie, and Gertner, counting down on So Says Shernoff, which brought us into January 1st, 2021, where at 9 a.m. Eastern, ad-free shows dropped the first episode of That Was Extreme. We've gotten such awesome feedback from people, and I hope that maybe some of those people who listen to that for the first time might be joining us for the first time here, Mind of the Meanie. But one thing we got to do that was really cool for me, I know it was cool for you too, but I feel like you're an actual, celebrity person that people want to interact with. One of the things that was
Z-list.
Yeah, it was so cool for me. At least you're on a list. But when the three of us were asked to do a live Zoom Q&A for ad-free shows, And we did that last night as we're recording this. And that was so much fun. The fact that people asked me questions was crazy, that anyone wanted my opinion. We discovered that I had a couple of fans, RJ being the third. It was just, Meanie's throwing up the Dudley's 3 right there.
Which they stole from the Triple Threat.
Yeah, well they just held it the other direction, right?
Yeah.
Or, I don't know.
I was there the day. I know we're getting off on
That's what we do.
But I was there today. The Dudleys were in the locker room, and they're like, what can we do in our entrance? And Terry Taylor goes, well, your finishing move's the 3D. Hold up the 3 and the D. And Bubba, to his credit, goes, yeah, but that's the, Shane Douglas's Triple Threat hand gesture. He's like, well, they don't. And Terry Taylor goes, well, they don't work here, so do it.
That's true.
To Bubba's credit, he was like, I don't want to steal their gimmick.
Yeah.
And so that's when they, the Dudleys start doing the 3D gimmick. But that's
awesome.
I was there and witnessed the birth of that notion.
Nice.
So go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, not at all. Travis, just right now, I really enjoyed That Was Extreme. The three of you did a great job with it. Thank you so much, Travis.
Thank you.
Yeah, I actually even somebody I want to say it was in like Australia or something. Actually, was kind enough to write on the thing. I mean, we've got so many great reviews, but one of them actually said that they will support anything that I'm on, which like they specifically named me. And I know that seems so like insincere. I'm like, gosh, I can't believe it, guys. Oh, thanks so much for all this. But I'm genuinely blown away because for me, this still feels, since we haven't been able to do a live show, I haven't been in front of anybody. So I'm still just blown away that anyone is enjoying anything that I'm doing. Because if I listen back, I'm like, oh God, my voice, like, I'm
the same way.
When you listen back to me, you can't stand my voice either. And, but no, and I have that assumption, like, I'm sure, I'm not sure. I know for a fact that you're flattered and moved by the people that support, you and the show and everything. But I guess from my point of view, I look at it and I go, well, of course he's the Blue Meanie. People should be excited to hear him. People should be celebrating this. And with me, I just genuinely feel so lucky to be along for the ride here. And don't ever let me get a big head and lose that feeling of appreciation, because it really, every comment, every bit of support that I've gotten means the world to me. It has been so cool to ride Meanie's half shirt coattails and into any form of success. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was really cool. And we made the announcement on there that we will be back February 1st, and every month until we say something and get canceled, we will be back every single month on the first of the month with another episode of That Was Extreme with our good friend Joel Gertner. So just really excited for that.
Dude, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, it's just it's flattering. We have our own universe here at Mine of DeMeanie. So we're kind of swimming in somebody else's pool with That Was Extreme, Yep. We're crossing over into a different universe.
And it's like episode 1, we were wearing bathing suits. But now that everyone liked it, I mean, trunks are off,
There's a sight.
Yeah. Balls
there's
out.
A visual. Yeah. Doesn't take much for me. But no, it was cool. The feedback from That Was Extreme has been really flattering and stuff like, because like you never know what the reaction is going to be. I go back to our first show with Mine and DeMeanie, and that first opening of the first show, the theme and all that stuff, and I got to say words, and hope people give a shit what I have to say when I throw it out into the universe. And luckily, here we are 41, 42 episodes
41. Yep.
41 episodes later, and we're building a little community over here.
Yeah.
So now we start something from scratch, on in another platform, in another universe. And again, here you go. Fly off. Hopefully somebody likes it or, catches it.
Yeah.
And the response has been pretty good. With that said, nothing's going to happen to mine and Meanie. This is
Oh God, no. This
is number one for us.
Yeah.
But that was extreme as another avenue for us to expound on mine and Meanie and have a couple different pokers in the fire or a bunch of coals in the fire.
And the nice thing is, that we've said this from the start of our podcast 41 weeks ago. We put over Conrad and his stuff in the very beginning. And we've always been big fans of just putting over, if we like other people or a podcast, we're not nervous about, losing our spot. You know what I mean? Like we'll put over other podcasts. But Conrad's stuff and his ad-free shows community, like they really kind of set the bar. Like they're here, and then there's all the other podcasts. No matter how great those other podcasts are, when you think wrestling podcast, it's Conrad's stuff. So to be invited into that is not only a validation for our work, but also really kind of validates Mind of the Meanie. Because no one's going to look at that and go, well, Mind of the Meanie probably sucks. That's why Conrad asked them to be on his network too, I'm hoping that it's going to draw people in to kind of, hear this. And the thing that we've talked about so many times, what I love about Mind of the Meanie is that it is completely different from anything else that we would do. That was extreme. Like we have a great time, but there is such a structure to it. Definitely following the ad-free shows format of, going through the history and I kind of present you guys with things and then ask you questions and we get awesome stories out of it. And it's an amazing way to do it. But what we do here is more of talk radio. It's just, we're hanging out. We're just having a good time. And so it's really, it's just cool. But yeah, Mind of the Meanie going absolutely nowhere, but up. Hopefully.
I love
yeah.
I love the fact that you said we're like talk radio because I am a huge fan of talk radio. I usually put on talk radio before I put on any kind of music. Now, whether it's the news or sports talk or just talk in general, I grew up loving the Art Bell show where he would just, talk about everything, from UFOs, ghosts, Bigfoot, and all that stuff. And the cool thing about him is, like, even if he believed you or not, he gave you a platform to, he gave you enough rope to, swing hang
or
yourself.
hang,
Yeah. But, I'm a huge fan of talk radio. Talk radio's got me through a lot of car trips.
Yeah.
You're driving to an indie show somewhere 400 miles away, and you need something to keep you up. Oh, let me find Art Bell on the radio.
Yeah.
And then you feel like you have somebody in the car with you.
Because that's
the
thing.
And you're talking along with the radio as if they can hear you. You're like, oh, yeah, what the fuck, man? Yeah. That's what I wanted this podcast to be.
I've literally been on 24-hour car rides, where we're only stopping for gas and to grab food real quick and eat in the car. I've been on, 18-hour, 12-hour, these long drives. And music's great, but when you're losing all your energy, music at the same time, what would you do if you wanted to go home, relax, and get some sleep? Maybe put on some nice music. Like music isn't necessarily like, I would like to think that nobody is like, oh man, I really need to take a nap. Let me chill out and listen to Mind of the Meanie. They'll put me to sleep. Maybe it depends on the episode, but no. So it's what we're doing with Mind of the Meanie is the most fun I've ever had in my entire career. So I'm having a blast doing this. And yeah, it's episode 41. And we are just getting started. And that's an amazing thing too, Meanie. And I don't know how you feel about this, but episode 41, like at first I'm like, yeah, that's pretty cool. And then I'm like, that means we've been doing this for 41 weeks. It really feels like we started like maybe 2 months ago. Like, we've been doing this a long time and it feels so fresh and so new. And that's the best thing you can feel when you're doing something like this, because you're not at 41 weeks going, God, I feel like I've been doing this for a lifetime, you know, in a negative way. So yeah, I'm excited for the future.
Yeah, it's just I've said this before. I know many guys who started a podcast and then they're just like, Jesus Christ, what do I talk about? They run out of concepts. And the cool thing about this concept is we're not shackled down, or we don't have a ball and chain around our ankle.
The only shackle we have is Shackleford.
Yeah.
Over on our Patreon.
No, but seriously. But yeah, we could literally talk about anything. And again, that's what's refreshing about that was Extreme. There's structure over there, because it's like working a different territory.
Yeah.
Mine and Meanie territory is more freelanced.
Yeah.
Where the ad-free shows territory, a little bit more structure, question, and which that was refreshing too, because you brought up a lot of things I wasn't privy to or aware of, I should say, more.
I mean, I read from the Observer, so I brought up some things that weren't even true.
Yeah.
You know?
Most of. But yeah, like when you're in ECW and you're wrestling and stuff like that, I'm speaking for myself because I don't know. I'm sure some of the other boys read the newsletter.
I was going to say, you're not speaking for me. I wasn't in ECW.
Yeah. But I wasn't like reading the Observer while I was in ECW or this, that, and the other thing. I was just on to the next, you know. And what's cool about that is I get to go back and watch the shows that maybe I've seen once and never really watched again, because you watch, you know, and you're in ECW that you watch that week's TV, and then you're off to the next set of shows, record them. Then you watch that, you know, week's set of TVs. Yeah. So it's nice to actually go back and watch something you might have only watched once, and it's almost like you're watching it again for the first time. And there's a lot of times I watch myself. I keep forgetting I'm watching myself because I'm such a wrestling fan anyway. So, you know, I watch it from sometimes I could take off my worker hat, my wrestler hat, and put on my fan hat and just watch it as from a fan perspective.
One thing
with the new mouth.
One thing I want to point out here. So Liam on Patreon says, I can't get That Was Extreme on my podcast app. So I want to kind of clear that up because it is free. From what I understand at this point, if you are a part of the ad-free shows family there, if you subscribe to ad-free shows and you have their unique RSS feed that sends you the, you know, ad-free shows, sends them early and ad-free, it did in fact appear on that feed. I know because I got it. It showed up on mine. I was like, that's pretty cool.
I'm going to have to get you to teach me that stuff because I don't know anything.
Yeah. I mean, I'm far from somebody in a position to teach it, but I will try my best to figure it out for you. But I'm like constantly shocked. I'm like, this downloaded by itself. What a magical machine. But
how did you get in my house?
Who are these people? Is Conrad Thompson living in my phone?
Where's my pants? Shernoff.
So
or maybe
you will be able to get it if you're already a part of ad-free shows. It will go to your podcast app. If not, you can go to adfreeshows.com and it's there. It's in their posts. Like you'll see a lot of things that are locked. If you're not a subscriber, you'll see all these locked posts. Ours will not be a locked post. It is free to everyone. So you'll see the video, and you will see the audio as well. So, you know, it's not in that regard, it's not as convenient, but at the same time, basically, I think the thought process is, here's something for free, but wouldn't it be great if you joined adfreeshows.com as well? So we'll make it almost super easy for you, but you know, so I don't know. I think that's basically what the plan is with it, but you can still get it for free. We're going to, I think we'll put on over at mindofthemeanie.com is now, we switched that up. So that now links directly to that link tree linktr.ee/Mind of the Meanie, which is like a central hub for everything that we have. So I think we'll add a link on there that will take you directly to the video and directly to the audio as well. So just another way to kind of make it easier that you can go to adfreeshows.com, search through for That Was Extreme, or you can go to mindofthemeanie.com and do it that way.
Excellent. Yeah, man. Yeah, I tried to learn that RSS feed stuff, and like I need to get an app that allows me to do that, because there's like a app I use right now, kind of that like they want you to pay to get rid of commercials or something like that.
Well,
so I need to get like a better podcast app or something like that. I know.
So I mean, I obviously set up the RSS feed myself to do this. I just don't remember how, but I use the like the Apple podcast, whatever the hell's in my phone. But I'm sure you can put that feed into. So I don't know. Like, I don't know if they're on other things like Spotify or whatever. I've tried
Spotify, but
I will say something that's nice is another nice thing for me, because, you know, Peek Behind the Curtain, and we've talked about this before, that I run a lot of the technical stuff behind Mind of the Meanie. It's really nice to do the show, edit the show, and send it on off over to Dave Silva and, you know, the crew there, and then just sit back and watch it magically appear on January 1st. Like, it was really nice to, like, if the link doesn't show up, not my problem. Someone else will figure that out, you know? So that has definitely felt good. So yeah. Liam says Podcast Addict is the app that he uses, and the RSS is super simple. So Meanie, maybe give that. He also says, all good. I'm probably joining ad-free shows soon anyway. I mean, I'd recommend it.
We're members.
Yeah, we're members, and I love it. Some of the stuff on there that they have, some of the bonus things, you know. Look, it's a business, so it's like they'll put little bits here and there, and your first instinct is like, oh, man, dude, I don't know if I want to pay. It's a business. Pay for it. I guarantee you they're giving you your money's worth and way more, you know?
For instance, they, like, you get notifications when they upload something, and it's usually at 6 a.m., and I know that because I forget to turn my phone off, and the notification goes off. And my notification on my phone is the breaking news thing. So at 6 a.m., me and Mrs. Meanie, Tracy, are startled awake by the fucking Channel 6 news sounder. So, there's a constant barrage of, like, updates because they're putting a constant barrage of content.
Yes.
There's so much content on that site that I'm excited. They just put up a couple weeks ago, they put up Bruce Pritchard's episode on Houston wrestling, which I've been itching to listen to, ad-free, by the way.
Yeah, and I can't thank them enough again for having us on there, and we will be doing the Q&A. That's another thing. We'll be doing the Q&A, it looks like, every month, the day that on the first of every month. I guess, you know, schedules permitting, of course, but that's kind of the beauty of technology, is it's not like we have to physically be there. And the beauty of the pandemic is we're not fucking going anywhere. So I don't have any plans. But
that's the only silver lining of the pandemic. Yes. You gotta go, well, sorry, there's a pandemic. I can't leave the house. I don't want to go to your thing.
But I look forward to continuing a nice long relationship with them. I look forward to tuning into Something to Wrestle this week to hear Conrad talk about Mind of the Meanie for 25 minutes as well. That's our little back and forth that we have. But no, I mean, Ad-Free Shows is awesome. Check it out.
It is.
I couldn't recommend that you do anything but first sign up for Mind of the Meanie's Patreon at patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie, and then go check out Ad-Free Shows.
Pretty please.
Yes. So
sugar on top.
I don't want to bring things down because we're having so much fun. But
don't bring me down.
But I'm going to. We recorded last Sunday. I believe. No, last Saturday.
Yes.
And
I don't know what day it is anymore with these holidays. My timeline's fucked. But go ahead.
We found out, obviously, after we got off the air, we found out about Brodie Lee.
Mm-hmm.
And not just Brodie Lee, Danny Hodge as well. And these were, obviously, we put our show out. The entire world was talking about Brodie Lee and his passing. And we put our posts on social media, but we obviously, I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew that we didn't ignore it.
Right.
We had already recorded the show. There's not much more to say than what's already been said by people who, are in a much better position to speak about him than we are. But I wanted to be able to express my condolences here on the air to his family. I watched such an incredible tribute episode, start to finish. It was so emotional to watch Dynamite this past Wednesday. Tony Khan and anyone else who put that together did such an exceptional job of honoring that man. And just the one thing I will say is when he showed up, he was supposed to show up at the Rochester, his hometown, at that show, which because of the pandemic got moved. I believe it was the first show that got moved to Jacksonville, and with no audience there. And he made his debut. And I remember being like bummed out because I was supposed to they were going to do Rochester. And then I think there was the Blood and Guts show that was going to happen in Jersey that I was booked to be at. And then the Philly show that was going to be just a couple weeks later. And I was booked through Fight to be there to promote AEW Plus. And I'm like, okay, we've got Matt Hardy, we've got Brodie Lee. Like, I was so excited about the idea that I was going to get to A, meet these people, and B, potentially get to work with them with like a backstage interview. And as time went on, it was one of those things that I kind of had on my potential AEW return bucket list, if I ever am able to get back there, was to be able to do something with the Dark Order. I thought that would be so cool to be able to, as I've watched their stuff on BTE, that was something where I was just like, that would be fun to do. Like, I've had a great time with like Best Friends and Orange Cassidy doing backstage stuff. And like, it's like, there's so many different personalities. And I was just picturing in my head, Mr. Brodie Lee yelling at me. And I'm like, this would be amazing. Like, I would love to just cower in the corner as he throws paper at me and, stuff like that. And so selfishly, from a professional standpoint, I was so, the fact that I never got to work with him was very upsetting. Far more so from a personal standpoint as a father myself and a husband, and just, and not too far off in age from him. Just heartbroken over what happened. Yeah. And I only knew of him as Luke Harper and Mr. Brodie Lee. I never met him. I never got a taste other than watching, Being the Elite and knowing that clearly this dude has a great sense of humor and, and enjoying his work. The things that I've seen online, the outpour of love and respect for this man, just unbelievable and so sad. And I just, for whatever my condolences are worth, I just want to send them to his family and his friends and his fans. And I hope that he is remembered up there, unfortunately, because he's so young and it was so tragic. But I hope that he is remembered in the same way that an Owen Hart or an Eddie Guerrero have been remembered and immortalized in this business, because it sure seems that the human being deserves it.
Oh, for sure. I met Brodie briefly. I was doing a series of shows for a promotion out of Syracuse called, or it might have been Rochester, but I'll say Syracuse for now, called 2CW up in upstate New York. And Brodie was on those shows, and guy couldn't have been nicer. Guy was, total professional, great, agile, big man, which I'm always been a fan of. The big guy who can move. Growing up, I loved guys who could do, just they weren't the lumbering big man kind of thing where he can just go and hang with the best of them. But he worked to his size as well. He didn't work down to his opponent's size. Everybody had to work up to his size. Great guy. And then last time I had met him was when SmackDown was in town. I went to a SmackDown and said hello to everybody. And then I found out, like, small world, that when I broke in with Al Snow, there was another dude that broke in with me around the same time. I had maybe 2 months on him, named Rick Matrix. And Rick Matrix was from Rochester, and then, like, we both went our separate ways. I went back to Philly, he went back to Rochester, and he had his career in Michigan, upstate New York. And he had a hand, everybody's got a, like, I was trained by Al, but I learned from so many different people. But Rick had a hand in Brodie Lee's training, which, I was like, oh, wow, small world, right? But, yeah, and then, like you said, we got off the air. It's like, the 2 hours we do the show, 2.5 hour show, we're cut off from the world. I turn my phone off, you turn your phone off, and then we hit record and we're talking. We get off the phone and we get off the air, and we're looking through and we're like, holy shit, Danny Hodge died. Oh, holy shit, Brodie Lee died. And it's just like, I don't, like you said, we don't want people to think we no-sold the passing of these two great men.
Yeah.
Dude, Danny Hodge, one of the toughest men alive. But I don't want to get off of Brodie here, but Brodie, like you said, I really haven't seen anybody this celebrated since Owen and Eddie. As far as, like, outpouring from across the universe, the whole wrestling world.
Yeah, I mean, I never
universally loved.
I never really quote this quote Dave Meltzer in a positive light, but I do want to say I believe he said something along the lines of the only thing he could compare this to is what he would imagine it would have been like had Owen Hart passed during the social media age.
Yeah,
and I think that speaks volumes because 20 years later we still 21, 22 years later.
Yeah.
We look at Owen Hart, all these years later, 15 plus years later, we look at Eddie Guerrero, and I think part of it is, you don't know what you have till it's gone type thing, but these are people that you knew you were a huge fan of, but then all of us outside of it, whether we're fans or other people like yourself in the business who never had the opportunity to really know them, you find out these stories, these things that, Brodie Lee buying gear for other people just because he thought they'd look good in it.
John Silver, I think he bought gear for.
Yeah. And then I read something about where he bought podcast equipment for somebody because he and his wife believed in them. And, like, just, it's the little things like that. They talk about his, just his personality in general, but the thing that always that struck me the most was them talking about him, just the amazing father that he was, and that's the stuff that just hurts. I couldn't help but look at that kid, and we get so tied up in the Wednesday night wars and the companies and that stuff, and in some ways that's all part of the fun of being a wrestling fan, and I get that, but whether you like AEW or you don't, whether you agree with their style or you don't, one thing as a human being, you have to look at the smile on that kid's face less than a week after he lost his dad.
Yeah.
And the fact that they were able to put that smile on his face and give him such an incredible memory, such
it was a happy distraction as well, because, you know, I mean, the man just lost his father.
Yeah.
That's heavy.
Yeah.
And to give him an outlet to celebrate his father and have a little bit of fun, you know, in the process of celebrating his father. And to AEW's credit, he is now under contract.
Yeah, I would love to know the full details on that.
Or does that fall under child labor laws?
Yeah, right.
I don't know. But that was such a kind gesture to make sure that the family still has
someone said something about
income.
And this was kind of scary because he's 8 years old, maybe? I think he's 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And someone was like, I can't wait for Double or Nothing in 10 to 12 years of Brodie Lee Jr. versus MJF. And, like, I thought about it. My first thought, I was like, that's funny. And then I was like, MJF is, like, what, 23, 24?
Yeah.
Like, so you're talking about Brodie Lee Jr. being, I mean, that is very realistic if he continues his love for wrestling and pursues becoming a wrestler. I mean, that dude already, some of the moves you see on social media. Yeah, he's good hand.
No, he's in good hands.
Oh, okay.
Too,
I was going to say, yeah, the kid's a good hand already. But
no, he's in good hands with the company he keeps.
Yeah. And you look at that, and then you're like, well, MJF, if he stays healthy and stays there, that dude's going to be like just entering his physical prime because that son of a bitch is so young. And
hold on. Did you see during the ceremony and stuff like that when Brodie Lee Jr. was out in the ring and MJF tweeted, "Fuck that kid"?
Yes. Planting seeds here.
Yeah, planting seeds.
This is going to be it's going to be the longest burn.
You thought yeah. You thought Sabu Taz was a slow burn leading up to Barely Legal. Wait till Brodie Lee Jr. is finally legal and he can actually wrestle on the show, you know.
And you know, and to put a bow on
that
it,
kid.
To put a bow on it, like that kind of, in a way, that's kind of wrestling in a nutshell. That with all it's an escape, and it's something that is going to give this kid an escape. It's something that, you know, can be in the back of his head for the next 10 years, dreaming about when one day he puts on, you know, the boots and he steps into the ring, and, you know, it sucks. It sucks that it has to be this way. It's you know, it's just that's it, really. It sucks.
It's a silver lining. It's a silver lining to a very dark cloud. Brodie Lee. I mean, dude, Brodie Lee's 41. He's young. He was a young dude.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that, you know, he didn't get to enjoy his AEW run in front of crowds and stuff like that. I mean, I wish he was still here.
No,
you know?
Yeah, I mean, no doubt he was a future multi-time world champion. You know.
Oh my God,
and,
without a doubt.
And it's just, you know, I think as a parent, you know, you'd look at it and you'd think to yourself, you know, I guess as a good parent, you look at it and you think to yourself that as long as my kids are taken care of, as long as my kids are happy, I would sacrifice something for myself to, you know, for that. And that's like, you talk about silver lining, at least, you know, at least that's something where hopefully in his final days, because I know they filmed some stuff for him to see, you know, of Brodie Lee's son beating Kenny Omega, I believe, and like, you know, stuff like that. And I hope that he was able to, like, you know, to leave this earth saying, if nothing else, this horrible tragedy, and I have to go, but hey, I feel like my kids are in good hands. I feel like my wife's in good hands. I feel like my family's going to be taken care of. And to know that his choice to gamble on himself, and I'm not suggesting what WWE would have done, wouldn't have done, or anything like that.
Right. Nobody knows.
But he gambled on himself and went to AEW. And in doing so, I just hope that has led to setting up his family in a good way. And that even though it didn't work out the way it should have for him, that at least, I hope that he was able to leave this earth knowing that his family's taken care of. That's all I've got to say about that, as because I could go on and on forever about I could go on and on forever about anything, because that's just the way I talk. But this is something that, it just, I think it affected all of us. And again, just condolences from the show, from myself personally, and of course, obviously from Meanie as well.
I know you just try to put a bow on it, but
that was my bow. Tie your own.
Well, I need to add the fact that, like, this, Brodie Lee's passing and the circumstances in which it happened really touched me in a personal way, because I had a similar situation with,
yes,
like I've said in a past episode here on Mine and Meanie, where one night I went to bed feeling fantastic, and the next day I woke up feeling like hell. Like it was St. Patrick's Day 2006, because I was going away to wrestle in Oregon, and I was bummed I wasn't going to get to celebrate St. Patty's Day here in Philly, but got to work. So I woke up and I felt like complete utter shit.
Yeah.
Burning, fever. My throat felt like I swallowed razor blades. Lungs were on fire, and I contemplated not going and doing that trip. But for whatever reason, when there was a promoter in Oregon. The promotion was West Coast Wrestling Connection, and there's all these fucking Spinal Tap moments that would happen, like where I go to the airport and my flight had already taken off, so I couldn't make it till the next day, and this, that, and the other thing. It was like snake bitten. And I was like, dude, if I cancel this booking, this guy's got the worst fucking shit luck in the world. So I put my own personal well-being aside to do this booking, to make sure I got it. By the time I got out there, I felt like fucking death. And I could barely perform. Thank God there was tag matches where the other, my partner did most of the work, and I did like a comeback. And as soon as the match was over, I'm powdering out to the back and running to the bathroom and getting sick. And but I get back to Philly, and what I think was just the flu turns out to be a thing called an empyema, which is a bacterial infection in the lung, and part of my left lung had become diseased from it, and they had to go in there and extract it and all that stuff and all that good thing. And the reason why I'm saying this is because people were speculating that it was COVID that took Brodie Lee. And his family said it's not COVID. And if they say it's not COVID,
yeah, and then they continued to speculate after his family said it wasn't COVID, which was
it's
irresponsible. And
that needs to be said. The family said it's not COVID. It's not COVID. Okay.
Yeah.
Until they say otherwise.
Everybody wants something. You want something scandalous, When all of a sudden, I think AEW, maybe they weren't testing people the right way, and where did he catch it from? And was AEW keeping this a secret from the fans and attendance? It's like, no, this is his wife fucking said it's not to get hot about it, but his wife said it's not COVID. Done. Right. In what other world and what other scenario does somebody lose their husband and say, oh yeah, they passed from whatever? And then everyone goes, well, I don't think so. Like, what the, right. I get, as she put in a post, there's no shame in dying from COVID, but he didn't die from COVID. And,
right.
And she also put something that affected me reading it, was that at times she prayed it would be, so that they would have some idea of what was happening. And for all I know at this point, maybe they do. Maybe they're, and guess what? Am I curious? Of course I'm curious. Do I deserve to know? No, I don't. No. I deserve to know if they decide that they want to tell me. And that's, right. I understand he was a public figure, but come on. And it's something that, I don't know if they've even chosen to do an autopsy. I was listening to Jim Ross earlier today, and he was talking about it, and he was saying that he doesn't know if there was an autopsy or not. All he knows is that, and this is according to what I heard from Jim Ross, and, so we're hearing it third hand, fourth hand, who knows, but he had basically been told that it was double lung failure, and that his lungs were in such bad shape that he wasn't even eligible for the transplant list. And again, that's just something that all I'm saying. I heard that from Jim Ross. I'm not trying to report that as anything, but
right.
True or not true, whatever it is, clearly this was something everyone was hoping he was going to kick out. This is not something, this has been going on for months. To be at the Mayo Clinic, that's somewhere where they send you when they don't know what's going on. And this is, I can't think in a lot of ways of even a worse thing than to just go, what the hell is this? Why is this happening? You turn around and you say, oh, well, it's cancer. Does that make it better? No. But at least you can turn around and go, well, it gives you an opponent. It gives you something. It gives you something to fight against, something to blame,
antidote.
something to say, okay, this is, let's see if we can put
how
together
we treat it.
A plan. Exactly. Mm-hmm. This is a guy in the shape he was in. It's unbelievable that this happened. It's unbelievable. It's heartbreaking. And I just wanted to, I didn't mean to interject and step all over your toes there.
No.
When I first read, and I don't want to bring up the whole, who wrote the stuff and whatever, but when I first read I just, to me, I looked at it, my first thought was, why was this necessary?
Right.
Why was this, anyway.
Well, the reason why I put my story out there is to just support the family and say, not every lung issue is COVID. Yeah. Again, my issue happened before COVID, but I had a random, a sudden emergency with my lungs. And I was like, oh, man, is this because I'm asthmatic and all this other thing? They're like, no. And empyema can happen to anybody. Before I was in there, they dealt with a 20-year-old track star, prime health. Yeah. Just got a bacterial infection in her lung.
You posted the picture. I'd never, you told the story before, but I'd never seen that picture. The scar. I guess the picture wasn't even a scar yet. It was looked like it was stapled. Still stapled.
Yeah.
The intensity of what that was. So that was one of the first things I thought about. I didn't even want to say that to you, but it was one of the first, there's like, that's a hard, it just seemed like an inappropriate thing for me to bring up to you. But when you posted it, I thought to myself, I'm really glad he said something, because these things can happen. Life is just fragile as all hell. I've seen, we've all lost people, and, I've personally lost people in an instant, one day they're fine, the next day they're gone, because and you look and you go, what the hell happened? What happened here? Yeah. And I can, the specific instance that I'm talking about, there ended up being an answer, Did that bring him back? No. Did that help things? In a way, yeah. Because I got to tell you, as much as you go, how did this happen? How could this not have been caught beforehand? To have that answer, at least you can look at it and say, that's what happened. Yeah. It shouldn't have. It sucks. But that's what happened to him. And I just hope, for the family's sake, if they want it, if they want to know, because again, not our choice, not our business, but if they want to know, I hope, for the family's sake, that there's an autopsy that is able to determine what happened.
And how do we prevent this from happening again?
Yes. But again, Meanie, I stepped on your toes again. I'm sorry.
Don't worry about it, dude. No, I was just trying to say, hey, this is an emergency. You know, I put my story out there just to say, hey, anything can happen. It happened to me. Doesn't mean it's the thing that annoys me about most is just lazy, where people just go, oh, it had to be COVID, because it's like, you know, when people try to think, you know, explain something that happened in wrestling, just sometimes the obvious thing isn't the obvious thing,
And listen, enough people are dying from COVID. If you really, really need to find it, it's there for you. There's plenty of people dying from it.
There's no benefit to her saying, "Oh, it's not COVID." You know, just know, if it was COVID, you can say it was COVID, and you know, you could use that as a rallying cry. Please be careful. You know, because AEW is being careful with their workers. You know, I know a lot of people who've been careful. You know, you always hear about, you know, all these people saying, well, I did everything right and I still got it, you know, and it's like, wait, tell us what you did that you thought was right, so we know not to do that. You know?
I mean, I read an article the other day about a woman and her husband who they didn't leave the house. They had food delivered. They did all this stuff. Yeah. And then she finally went, her daughter was a hairdresser and had just tested 4 days earlier, it was like a day or two earlier. No, I'm right. 4 days earlier had tested negative for COVID. And so she said, you know what, we'll get together. We'll keep our masks on. We'll keep our distance, but we'll get together so you can go give your brother a haircut. Oof. And the day after, the daughter started feeling sick, had COVID. Right. The mother got it, spread it to the father. Both the mother and father passed from COVID. Mm. I looked at that, and my first thought was, like, because I've been holding off on getting a haircut for quite a while. As anyone on our Patreon who saw the New Year's message I sent can attest to, I need a haircut. So
but I'm just buy a Flowbee. Be like George Clooney.
Yeah, right. You know, and I said that's one of the reasons I'm not getting a haircut is, you know, I know that at some point end of January or something, I have to get the photos done for the for our action figures for the box. Yes. And I looked at it and I said, well, if I'm going to have to get my haircut for that, I'm going to wait and get my haircut once. I'm not going to, because if I get my haircut now, I'm going to need another haircut by the time I do that. So but to me, I'm like looking at it going like, I don't want to. And believe me, I'm not a fan of this mane I have going on, but it's, it sucks. And look, we're in a new year now. But it is important. I said it last week, and it's important that everybody knows, like, you know, we didn't wake up, on New Year's Day, we're all vaccinated. We're all, this thing. Oh, it was a 2020 problem. Yeah. Guess what? It was a 2019. That's why it's called COVID-19. It's a 2019 problem, a 2020 problem more so. And it's going to be a 2021 problem until this thing gets under control. And so everybody still please wear your masks. And also respect the fact that people can still get sick and die from things that aren't COVID. Because I've seen a lot of that too. Like a lot of thought of just like, well, as long as I don't get COVID, everything else is fine. It's like, no, still take care of yourself. Still, if you're not feeling well, there's a chance something else is wrong. Even if it's like, oh, I feel things are not good. I'm feeling terrible, but I tested negative. It's like, well, then I guess you're fine. There's no illness that can get you. So, I mean, everybody just take care of yourselves. And then we'll back to your regularly scheduled programming of farts and whatever it is we do.
We brought a little bit of our humor to ad-free shows last night. I wasn't sure how that was going to go over with the farts.
I wasn't sure so here's the thing. I wasn't going to play any of the farts until Meanie here just all of a sudden, like on our Q&A, he's just like, I hotboxed myself.
I did though.
So I thought to myself, well, if Meanie, it's open season now. If Meanie said it,
I invited the vampire into the house.
Hey, by the way, speaking of that, because that's a throwback to what ended up becoming Meanie Toons. Shout out to Heath Slater or I guess just Heath at this point, for tweeting out this morning as we record this, tweeting out the first episode of Meanie Toons and tagging the Big Show in it, that saying that Meanie is like the worst gas in the business next to the Big Show. So
I'm in good company then.
yeah, I'd like to think the Big Show will add in, or maybe he'll weigh in on that. But
when he farts, do people go, whoa? Oh man, dude, I've often thought about, man, because like, speaking of ad-free shows, I just listened to their episode on Andre the Giant, and they were talking about Andre's farts, and Bruce is like, yeah, Bruce has heard some of Andre's farts. I mean, I guess next time I see Big Show, I'm gonna have to fight and say, hey man, let loose, let one go.
Yeah, just do it. See what happens.
Yeah.
Two of you together.
Just stand there behind him and go, bring it.
Yeah. You guys, no, you go back to back. It'll be the immovable force meets the, or whatever, the irresistible force meets the immovable object.
Listen here, gorilla.
Would you please?
Oh, dude, speaking of that, shout out to Richard Land. Richard Land, who has a great Twitter feed. He, does a lot of, he finds a lot of rare shit and puts it on his Twitter feed. At Richard Land, I believe. He also has a podcast, Our Vantage Point. He found a tag match, me and Stevie Richards against Derek Dukes and oh my God, I'm blanking on the name. Dude's last name was Zappa. But he found a tag match we did, and on commentary is Dr. Tom Pritchard and Gorilla Monsoon. Which I can now proudly say Gorilla Monsoon has done commentary on a Blue Meanie match.
How cool is that?
I've been able to say, hey, Lance Russell, Joey Styles, Jim Ross, Larry Zbyszko, even John Cena did commentary on one of my matches when pre John Cena, when he was the prototype in UPW out in California. I did a show for them, and he did commentary on the show. So technically John Cena did one of my matches, but the late great Gorilla Monsoon, I guess this was it was filmed the day after SummerSlam, and me and Stevie had a tag match. I believe it was on Metal, but they did different commentary for different markets, and there was one in the States that wasn't Gorilla Monsoon, but this was for like overseas.
That's amazing, man.
So it's Dr. Tom. And it might have been Bruce, too. I'm not sure. It might be Tom, Bruce, and Gorilla Monsoon.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. He just inboxed me the file. I'm going to check it out when we're
maybe we can share it on our Patreon or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Share it everywhere. It doesn't just have to be Patreon, but we'll put it on there, too.
Yeah, I'm sure Richard's put it on his YouTube page by now. But I mean his Twitter account. So it's funny. I have a picture of my great grandfather who I never met. He passed before I was born. I have a picture of him with a young Ted DiBiase, a babyface Ted DiBiase. At a show, really? At a show. He was a huge wrestling fan, my great grandfather. That's amazing.
And it was with a young Ted DiBiase, and then which I actually sent it to Ted a few years ago after I did an interview with him when I was doing the podcast with Bill, and he was like, "Wow, that's crazy." But I think it was sometime it was 78, 79, something like that.
That's cool.
In Atlantic City. And it was my brother, Fred, did some research on it because I also had a picture of him with Gorilla Monsoon and from the same show. Cool. And so my brother did some research and discovered, I was trying to find, cause I think he tweeted about it or did something. I can't find it, but, it was the first show Gorilla Monsoon ever did commentary for. Like that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and that my great-grandfather was there for that. Ironically, first show Gorilla Monsoon ever did commentary for, my great-grandfather was in the crowd not hearing the commentary, but, but still.
That show's on YouTube, by the way.
Is it really?
I have it. I downloaded it. It was broadcast live on Prism, I believe.
Do you really have that?
Yeah.
Okay, you have to send that to me, because Fred, I think, tweeted out or something, like asking, does anybody have this? Because he tried he had found some stuff online. We were trying to see. We know that my great-grandfather used to always sit like front row for these things.
If I can,
but I don't know if he was on the hard cam side or wherever he was. So we thought it'd be really cool to try and see if we can find it.
As we're on the air, I'm going to look it up and see if it's still there.
Cool. Yeah, please send that to me.
Yeah, they aired it on Prism back in the day. And I remember you said Ted DiBiase, and I want to say Gary Michael Capetta said something about that show as well, or something like that. Let me see. WWF, maybe?
Yeah.
Atlantic City. It was like on one of the old piers, I want to say.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, there it is. WWF from Atlantic City Steel Pier, 1979. The name of the page is Bill Darrell, D-A. Here, I'll put it up to the camera here.
Oh, now we're watching.
I hit the
Bobby
fat fucking fingers. Let me see you. There we go. See?
Oh, wow, yeah. Well, I'll show you. I'll hold it up here too for all of our listeners.
Yeah, please. I don't think I've seen this.
I don't have. I'd have to go find the picture, but I only had this one scanned up because I sent it to Ted DiBiase.
Yeah.
And I can't remember
who
the guys, but there's my great grandfather. I'm sorry, my camera's up here now. Oh, it won't autofocus. So yeah.
Sons of bitch.
But you can see pretty much there's my my great grandfather. He's the little midget guy. No, I'm just kidding. My great grandfather there. And it's okay. They called them midgets back.
Josh Shernoff comes from a long line of circus performance.
Yes, and it explains my height. And there's Ted DiBiase, a young Ted DiBiase backstage. But and I also have the same picture of him. And I think he would have been just about 80 years old or so at that point.
That's amazing.
But late 70s or something. But yeah, so he used to go to my grandfather's told me the stories of like where he would go to these, they'd take him to the shows and he would go and he'd yell at all the heels and the baby faces would be like, they'd go to be like, what do you want me to do to him? And he would yell in his like thick, Yiddish accent, he'd yell, hit him like this. And then they would do it. And, he didn't know what a work was or anything like that. So he was always so excited. Like he would, he was telling them what to do and they would do things. So I don't know if that was happening at a TV taping, but he used to go to all the shows.
I think that particular show aired live, like how Prism used to show.
Yeah. I can't. Yeah, you got to send me that link.
I'll send it to you right now.
All right, please do. And I'll look all around ringside, see if I can find, because at least I had that picture. I know what he was wearing. See if I can find him. That's just really cool. Because I was growing up, I always heard, about his love for pro wrestling, and it's in that it, skipped 2 generations and then picked up with me and my brother. But yeah, it's a genetic thing, pro wrestling. All right, thanks, man.
I just texted it to you. It was from Steel Pier in Atlantic City, which is another cool thing because Steel Pier was famous for, live shows. They would have like the Three Stooges there. Yeah. There's Three Stooges filmed bits on Steel Pier. It had the diving horses back in the day, shit like that. So Steel Pier was like famous for just like, I want to say vaudeville kind of things, but know.
Well, I mean, and that's kind of
and the fact that there was actually wrestling there, it's even cooler.
Yeah,
because the history of that pier,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there you have it.
I'm glad you said it. I'm glad I could help you with that because
me too. Oh, Fred's going to go nuts over this. He's going to be really excited.
He's going to go banana.
He's going to go banana. Yep. So what else is on your mind, man? What else is going on? What do you so you're with Bev and Donnie and Mrs. Meanie for the new year. We all saw that video of you with your whatever what do you call those? A little like
a noisemaker?
Noisemaker. We all saw that with your noisemaker.
Well, in South Philly, there's constant noise, on New Year's Eve. People run outside. In the tradition, I guess, I don't know anywhere else, but here, at least in Philly, people go out like bang pots and pans and have noisemakers. It's a little more subdued this year because of everything that's going on. But at least I saw fireworks going off, and I was like, oh, I got to fucking work that into my promo. Yeah. And I ran outside and stood in front of the fireworks and did a quick Happy New Year and sent that out to the world. After I did your live piece for Shernoff.
Oh, everybody knows that was pre-recorded.
What?
No,
kayfabe, brother.
Yeah, I know. It's just you and me on here.
Yeah, nobody's listening.
But
just you.
We have our largest turnout, by the way, of Patreon at this point, tuning into one episode live, which is awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Hey, by the way, join us over on Patreon, patreon.com/mindofthemeanie. We're having fun. We're going to do 2 watch-alongs this month, Meanie.
Yeah.
Because obviously last month got away from us. And
Christmas is a motherfucker.
Yeah. Oh, man. That's what it says in the Bible. What?
Yeah.
I don't know. What?
Right next to who the fuck is Santa Claus? What the fuck?
Oh man,
that's not what it's for.
The
birth of Jesus.
So yeah, we're gonna do 2 watch-alongs. We'll put up I think we're gonna put up a poll, and I think we're gonna do the top 2. I think we're gonna, first place and second place. And so that'll be a blast. We've got a lot of stuff. We got some new subscribers over Patreon.
Thank you for the new subscribers and new upgrades.
Oh, and have you signed those things yet?
I am in the process of signing them.
All right. So you're signing them about as much as I'm getting the headphones for Mrs. Meanie.
You want them signed? Get the fucking headphones.
Yeah. So we just got the concept art for our action figures by Cella Toys. We got the concept art, so Meanie signing those, and he'll send them over to me, and then I will sign them and then send them on out to everybody who sent us proof of purchase back when we were doing that, when we were offering that out. So we'll send those for free out to you. They're coming, don't worry. Yeah. So,
the concept art's really sweet. It's really sharp. It'll be perfect for framing to put up on your wall. Yeah. I started signing a few, and then my fucking Sharpie started shitting the bed. I was like, this is unacceptable.
What color are you using?
I don't know. Brown.
Yeah. That's because you ran out of Sharpie, and you're just like, well, what else do I have? It's time to finger paint.
Let me put my finger in the well.
Yep. Oh, man.
I just gigged myself and started signing in blood from my butt. While smoking a blunt. Yeah. But New Year's was fun over at Donnie and Bev's. Speaking of it,
what did you do? Like, what did you watch? I just
farted. No. Dude, we just. It's going to sound awfully exciting, but there's this YouTube channel I watch called Lookner, Agenda Free TV or whatever. This guy Steve Lookner does live breaking news, and like this is like his only job. He does this channel, which has got to be awesome, Mm-hmm. But we watched him just break into New Year. It was kind of like how, I hope people listen to this podcast that, feel like somebody's in the room with them. I watch, like Christmas Eve, we were watching Steve Lookner's feed, He was just interacting with people and stuff like that. So we just put it on and interacted and stuff like that.
Nice.
So it was kind of cool. I took a photo of my beverage of choice at the time with next to the screen, and he fucking broadcasted it out. Yeah. I was marking out. So, but it was a quiet New Year. We did that, and then what we really like to do, we play. There's this game called Jackbox Games.
Yeah.
For like PS4 and stuff like that, and they got different games. And there was 2 games we like playing. One's called Fibbage, where
is that like a Harry Potter game?
No, stop that. Fucking Harry Potter. I was going to say something.
That's what one time. Remember Hat Guy? Do you remember Hat Guy?
Yeah.
So Hat Guy had
John Lithgow.
If I can just interrupt for a second, Hat Guy had a group, like his whole group that would come with him. There's this old guy there. I don't know who it was, but when I was running shows back in 2002, I was running the TWF. Of course, you've heard of it. But Hat Guy and all them showed up to some of our shows. And I remember I did some spot off of like a cherry picker, some stupid, young kid shit that crashed through something, whatever. And got like a holy shit chant, and then I got a Jesus Christ chant. And I wore that as like a badge of honor that I got a chant like that from the Hat Guy. Cause I'm like, well, then I clearly did something cool. I fell. That's pretty much it. I fell.
Spectacularly fell.
I worked a spot with gravity. But we had a guy there that was one of our managers that this guy with the old man that was there with Hat Guy, like deemed him to look like Harry Potter. And he was doing something, interacting with Calvin Tan, who does, does stuff with me with Fight TV. And yep, there it is. Calvin's gonna be so pleased. And they're doing something, and the guy's yelling. He's like, Harry Potter and Mr. Fuji's son. That's he just kept yelling. And like the whole time, like on the video, like you can hear every time this other guy, Matt, was like running around, he's go, Harry Potter. Like that's what you just keep hearing. And so my brother, Fred, he came on to do like cut a promo or something as like he was kind of running that show, and we had good times. And he said something, he's like, when life hands you lemons, you make lemonade, and that's exactly what we're going to do here tonight. And the guy goes, we're going to make lemonade. And Fred, it took like every bit of energy he had not to just burst out laughing in the middle of it. But I just always, I don't even remember why I brought this up. Oh, Harry Potter. Harry Potter. Yeah. And it made me think, anytime I hear Harry Potter, oh, you didn't say it, I said it. But every time I hear Harry Potter, I hear this guy.
You inspired yourself to tell us.
Yeah. But every time
I love when I inspired myself.
Yep, I inspired myself.
Usually in the shower, but
yeah. I inspired myself. That's a new T-shirt.
When I think about you, I inspire myself. Whoa.
That was actually the music when I was doing the TWF that Kevin Matthews was using. Too cocky Kevin Matthews was using that.
That's great.
Because I did we had entrance videos and stuff like before. It was 2002. Like nobody had that. And for good reason, because it was not easy to make. But I remember doing like the entrance music with that. And that song would just be stuck in my head the entire night. While Kevin would come out to the ring with that. But then we did another great thing with Kevin Matthews. Somebody no-showed, and we put him under a hood, as they say. And we called him El Caque because he was too cocky Kevin Matthews. So he wore his regular gear, and we called him El Caque. And he came out to the theme. It was the Spanish version of Informer.
Really?
And it was so cool. And then Kevin wasn't able to make it to a show at one point, so we just replaced him with, what was his name? This is terrible. Any of my friends listening are going to be like, how can you not remember his name? Martial Law. Do you know the indie worker Martial Law?
I know the name.
He teamed with a guy, Love Bug or something.
I know Love Bug.
Yeah, Martial Law. We put him in. He was Fat El Caque. So he like squeezed into the mask. So we just had all these things. And Kevin Matthews, he was loving it. He was so good at doing it. It was such a blast. And we had him doing this alcaque gimmick. And then who was it? Mike Mondo worked one of our shows, just one of them. And the next thing you know, he heads off. Like, he worked one show and then went to OVW. It was like 2 months later, Mike Mondo's working basically the alcaque gimmick, just calling it something else. We're like, you son of a bitch. But no, I love Mikey. Yeah, so Kevin Matthews. So the next time you see him, and you'll see him at some point, but the next time you see Kevin Matthews, just go and just be like, hey man, I was a big fan of your alcaque.
Big fan.
Yeah, big fan of the alcaque gimmick back in the day. It'll pop him.
Oh, I definitely will.
Yeah,
definitely will. Speaking of Kevin, he reached out to me about possibly doing something in the future. Hopefully, once all this shit blows over.
Yeah.
He's been doing a series of shows in Alaska.
Yeah.
And asked me if I wanted to be a part of that, and that's like in August.
So hopefully,
I'm figuring.
Yeah.
I'm figuring by then, hopefully, we have this vaccine, and they can put the chip in me, and we can. I could get back to. I can't wait till they put the fucking chip in me.
So, if you go to Alaska,
which has been on my bucket list for years.
We do the show like while you're in Alaska, or do we have to record earlier? I don't think you want to bring a whole road cast.
No, I don't want to. I don't think I want to bring the whole.
I know there's something exciting about the idea of being able to do have you doing it remotely from Alaska, but I guess maybe we should just record it before you leave.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I'm even going to try and make it like a mini vacation where I'm going to fly Tracy out with me and stuff like that.
That's awesome. That'd be
it's going to be like 3-day loop.
Sweet.
Well, this would be my first booking in the Mind of the Meanie era.
Yeah,
really.
we'll put it over big.
I finally have something to fucking promote.
Yeah. Oh, man, we're going to have to... Well, are you going to have a gimmick table?
Probably.
You got to.
Yeah.
We're going to have to load you up.
I have 2 cases of merchandise that I got made for a convention that didn't happen. At several conventions that didn't happen.
We're going to have to, ship to Alaska some, Mind of the Meanie stuff for you to sign.
That'd be great.
Hey, August, man, you should be able to have...
I'll be
maybe bring some
ready
action
to go.
figures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love how people, not to go down this fucking rabbit hole, but I don't want the vaccine because they're going to put a chip in you and they're going to track you. Motherfucker, you own a cell phone.
Yeah.
If they want to know where you are, you're chipped already.
Yes.
With technology.
Absolutely.
Please stop that.
What was it? I was looking something up earlier, and then I went on Instagram, and there was an ad for it, which never in a million years have I ever and I'm it took me a second. I'm I don't know that I was even I think I talked about it. I don't even think I typed it into anything.
But don't get the vaccine. Because that's how they're going to track you.
No, I love there was this one asshole.
Not your cell phone, which listens to you and puts ads into your fucking.
Well, there's this
feeds.
one woman down in Florida,
genius,
where she was saying something about it was a faulty conspiracy because she's well, we're standing
as most of them are. But
they want us. This is military stuff. They want us 6 feet apart. And wearing masks 6 feet apart so they can scan our faces. Look at something okay. I'm all right, let's just pretend that we're entertaining this for a second. Number one, if they want to scan your face, A, why would they insist you also wear a mask? Right? That makes a lot of sense. You know what? We need to get a clear scan of their face. Let's have them be 6 feet apart and cover half of their face. How does that make any fucking sense? And then the next thing was, you know how they could scan your face? They scan your face every time you unlock your fucking phone by scanning your face.
Right. Or they could just bring up your fucking driver's license from the DMV.
Yeah.
And, how'd they get the photo of the Nashville bomber? I mean, he's dead, right? It's his fucking driver's license photo. Jesus. Come on, man. Dude, I loved conspiracy theories before conspiracy theorists fucking ruined them, you know?
Yeah. Well, everything's a goddamn conspiracy now.
Dude, I don't believe everything's on the up and up. I'm sure there's some secret shady shit behind the scenes, but not everything's a fucking conspiracy.
I am sure there are things that you and I would hands down go, not a conspiracy. That is a conspiracy. I'm sure there's stuff out there that we would just be like, oh, that's the dumbest thing I've ever. Like, who knows? Maybe this whole 6 feet apart thing, you know? I mean, it's definitely not a conspiracy, but who knows, right? But oh man, these conspiracy theories, people, doesn't make any sense. And then they're like, oh, they're going to track you. Fine, track me. I'm not fucking doing anything. What am I, like seriously, I want privacy. Like,
right.
You know, don't take like don't use my camera to take a selfie of me while I'm scrolling my phone and taking a shit. Like, you know, I'd appreciate that type of privacy. But I look at it and I go like, okay, they're going to track me. They're going to know where I am at all times. Like, okay, I guess when I do something terrible and then try to flee the country, that will be a problem for me. But until then, you know what? Like, that's fine. You can track me, but if I go missing, do me a favor and find me. You know what I mean? Like, I am a big proponent, like with my kids, like I am going to put a fucking chip in my kids. You know, like I know you're not allowed to, but I'm going to. You know, like I'll get them one of those little gimmicks that go like on their shoe that like nobody really, you know what I mean? Like I want to track my kids. I see this shit in the news. I'm getting half hot over here. But I see this stuff in the news, Meanie, and
breaking news.
Oh man,
Josh Shernoff's half hot.
No, you see these horrible things, and then you're just like, oh yeah, well let's have kids and bring them into this terrible world. You know, like it's a horrible thing. I am a. You know, some people are like, you don't want to be a helicopter parent. I'm like, I'm not a fucking helicopter parent. I'm a blanket parent. I am. Yeah. Just drop me on them and make sure that they don't, you know,
I've never heard that term before. I've never heard that term before. Helicopter parent.
Yeah, helicopter parents, what they call it if you're just like kind of hovering over your kids at all times.
As you should.
Yeah, it's like, no, I think I'll just send my kids.
Somebody doesn't steal them.
I'll just send my kids down the street by themselves. Like, it's a sick world that we live in, and this stuff was happening a long time ago, but you see these horrible things on, you know, online or on the news, or I can't even watch that stuff. It makes me, like, it's just, I can't stand it. I'll have, like, nightmares about it, but, like, no, like, I'm, you know what? Like, my feeling is I will never apologize for being overprotective of making sure that my kids are safe, you know? Like, yeah. It's like, sorry, I guess. You know what? Don't protect your kids. That's fine. That's on you. But I'm going to try my best to make sure nothing happens to my children.
Shame on you.
Yeah, kind of literally my only job as a parent is to make sure that something doesn't happen to them.
But yeah,
Sean Jones says, breaking news from The Observer. Shernoff wants to smother his children. Yeah. Oh, man. Man, if genes could reproduce, because we all know where half of that stonewash came from.
They'd be marching like the Hammers in Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon or whatever that is.
That was specific. Oh, man. Dave. Devin Miller says, I'm taking notes, Josh. Dave. Devin says, Dave. Calvin's here. Oh God, was he not farting the whole time? I'm taking notes, Josh, says Devin Miller. Our gender reveal is later today. I'll update the pod squad. A, nice. Please do, and congratulations, that's awesome. B, don't like burn anything down with your gender reveal. Like that happens a lot. But no, that's really cool, man. Congratulations, and definitely let us know. We'll have to get some onesies, some Mine and Meanie onesies out there.
Yeah. Some BWO ones too.
Yeah. No, fuck you, man. I'm trying to sell stuff from our podcast.
I'm trying to stamp this kid with my brand.
Yeah.
Dude, one of my favorite things.
We'll do
remember
both.
Remember a couple years ago, there was like some explosion at an electrical factory, and it lit up the whole sky of New York City, like this blue light. And somebody in my feed went, man, these gender reveals are over the top. It was so brilliant. I was so mad that I didn't think of it first, but I think of that quite often, more than I probably should.
Yeah.
And these gender reveals are over the top. Meanwhile, the whole skyline in New York's blue from this explosion or whatever.
Oh, man.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So, well, that's awesome, though. But yeah.
Yeah,
man,
congratulations, man.
Congratulations. And if you're taking notes, I'm assuming it's your first.
And me and my kids will be watching along as you do the review.
For those listening, Meanie is holding up a box of Kleenex.
Yes.
Which I'm still, I got to be honest with you, I don't think those are your kids. Those are who you've impregnated.
Not my kids.
Well, that's not how it, I mean, that's certainly not. You're implying that you sent your little meanies into those tissues.
The workforce.
Right.
These are my kids coming back into the workforce.
I'm just saying, you're not, like, that's not anything you should ever have, you should ever do to your kids. So I think that what you're talking about is when you hold that box of Kleenex up, what you're saying is this is the mother of my Mitchell. This is the mother of my children. This is what I think we're going for. And
overthinking a joke, Shernoff.
That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm here to do.
Don't fucking Mitchell my fucking kids over
here.
God,
what?
Make a story that's not there. Fuck you.
Oh man, is that what it's called now? Mitchelling something?
Oh, he total Mitchell that fucking story.
Oh man. That's like when you suspect there's more. When you completely make it up, it's Meltzering. But
yeah, I Mitchelled all of my. There's plenty of times I Mitchell. I think there's about more to come in. It's just like I'm flicking it off my thumb.
Oh God!
You're like, yeah.
Oh, it's a new year. Enough. Yes, it is.
Not enough to even make pancakes.
Oh. Oh, remind me to never have breakfast at your house.
Enough baby batter.
God, it's horrible. Oh man.
The things I don't say is what you should be fucking worried about.
That's for the those are for the live shows. When those.
Oh my God.
Happen.
When I have a fucking load in me. Oh, anyway.
Who's putting that load in you?
My kids.
What?
I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means, Josh. So don't fucking Mitchell it, you cunt. No, I'm just kidding. Josh, you are a cunt of a man.
That's
a good soundbite. If I wasn't, yeah. I mean, I would be a good soundbite, but I get all Canadian about it. I feel like I have to apologize immediately.
I'm sorry.
Dude, I used to pull ribs all the time. You know, me and my grandfather would gang up on my grandma and just make shit up and have her going. And my grandfather would be like, "Yeah, that's a, this cheese. This is what they make the bouncy balls out of." What? My grandfather go, "Yep." And then like we would ride it. Now I'm like 41. I got this fucking thing called a conscience, where I can't let the rib go. Yeah. Because then I automatically feel guilt or something like that.
Hey, it's the I've got the Jewish.
Shernoff, you are a cunt of a man.
Thank you. No T-shirts, Lichter. Yeah, how many cunt of a man T-shirts do you think we could sell?
Dude, those would
fly.
I would have to probably get royalties to a buddy of mine because he said it first. But
okay,
I'll send him a free one.
Yeah,
you are a cunt of a man.
Wow.
Put a little asterisk in there to make it clean. But,
the old
my kids. No, I'm just kidding. Speaking of Heath Slater, I got kids. Yeah, man. I got babies to feed. Man. In the words of Tommy Rich.
Tommy Rich was one of the first interviews I ever did.
Really?
Yeah. And
such a great dude.
Great.
Man.
It was awesome.
Dude, we a little behind inside baseball, ECW or WWE. Like if you work a show, if you worked for ECW or WWE, they give you this thing called, it's like a cash advance. But in wrestling terms, they would, you want to draw? Mm-hmm. You want to go get your draw? Which would mean you're drawing from your
draw on your
income. And like ECW, Paulie's, assistant Debbie Beaumont would have the money for cash advance, to draw. If you want your draw, you go see Debbie, and she would write it down, and they would deduct it from next week's check. So like Tommy Rich would be like, "Where's Debbie? I need my draw. I got kids to feed. I got babies." So when Heath Slater starts doing that thing, man, I got kids. I was like, dude, they got to somehow tie Tommy Rich into this somehow. That they're. It
was too inside.
I got babies. Oh my god. Yeah. Well, hopefully I can make it outside. But it just it was so
That's
funny.
What we do here on Mind of the Meanie. We take things that are inside and we put them outside.
Yeah. Like that seltzer kiss, because I have seltzer. Josh.
Yeah, I don't. Was that before we went on the air, or was that once we were on the air? I don't remember.
I'm 2 seltzers deep right now.
Yeah, I've been drinking my coffee.
Well, at least let me celebrate mine.
Oh, that's fine. Hey, you do whatever the fuck you want. What do you have?
Orange pineapple.
Orange pineapple from Wegmans. Did you just buy? Did you have Wegmans just deliver?
Dude, got.
You're there. It's just like, if you could bring one of those trucks by my house.
Yeah, it's a small South Philly street. You could get through.
Yeah, right.
Dude, yeah, we bought like $40 worth of seltzer when we were out there.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe
so
I ran.
You figure, I'm spending the money now, but I'm saving on gas by not having to go to Wegmans in the future.
I was gonna grab. I saw them like in my fridge. I'm like going to the back, and I'm like, I've got these Not Your Father's root beers. You ever have those?
I think we might have got some because Tracy wants to do. I hope I'm not spoiling this for her, but eventually do a Mrs. Meanie run-in with on root beer.
She's talked about that before. She's talked about that publicly.
Okay. Yeah. And we bought a bunch of root beers while we were out there, but I think it might have been Not Your Father.
Not Your Father's root beer. So here's the thing. I was like, oh, well, maybe I'll just, have myself a nice drink on the air. And I looked at it, and I'm like, my first thought, I'm like, wait a minute, this is the old label. Like, how old is this thing? And I couldn't find a...
oh, that's the alcoholic one, Not Your Father.
Oh, yeah. Right? Yeah.
Okay, I'm confusing it.
Okay. Right. And I'm like, how old is this? And then I found newer ones, and I'm like, what was the... And then I realized the last time I bought all of these was a 4th of July party. But not this past 4th of July, because we didn't have a 4th of July party. So they're a year and a half old. So they're all getting thrown away because they've definitely...
Yeah, what's it going to do? Make you less drunk?
I guess, but...
It's like, I never understood that. It's like, well, this allergy medicine's expired. Oh, I'll only half sneeze? Yeah, let's fucking take it. What's it going to do?
Yeah, Sean Jones says those Not Your Fathers will fuck your day up quickly. They will, because it is straight up like drinking root beer. And next thing you know, you are ass over tea kettle.
Those things were the rage when they first came out, man. Not Your Fathers, root beer, ginger ale.
So I'm not a big drinker. I'm not a beer guy. And I was with my wife's cousins. And they're all, big drinkers, and they're just like, yeah, you want anything? I'm like, nah, I'm not a beer. Because the last thing I ever want to do is take someone's beer and nurse it and waste it. Like, that just seems like a dick move. I'd rather just be like, just like, nah, I'm not much of a drinker or whatever. So one of them says to me, he's like, I've got something for you. He's like, you like root beer? I'm like, yeah. He's like, I got something for you. Gives me this Not Your Father's root beer. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I enjoy like a good, like, a cider, like a hard cider or something. So I'm like, all right, I'll give it a shot. Dude, it is delicious. Yes. And I was just like, yeah, I'll have a second one. I'll have a, and that was it. Like one time when I was in Scotland, with a bunch of buddies, and we went there. I always joke that it was like I went to Scotland right before I met my wife, and it was like the end of an era. Like I went with all my friends as a single guy. But we went out there, and I've told the story of, you know, the nail polish remover that they were serving. But at one point we went. What's that?
Did you get Lagavulin?
Lagavulin. No, so we went, and there was some sort of, it was like an apple cider drink. And I looked at them I'm like, I'll get that. You know, some of them had other drinks, whatever. I'm like, but I like that. I'm going to enjoy this. We're sitting outside. It's a nice day.
Yeah.
And I'm drinking this thing, and I finish it up, and I'm like, I'm going to go for seconds. Why not? So I'm halfway through the second one. And
Famous last words.
I am feeling like, what in the fuck? And I'll tell you what, I'll pause this while I look on my photos, because I took a picture of it, because I don't want to tell you what the proof was unless it was, you know. So I want to know for sure. I shouldn't have gotten into this story without knowing, but
fuck it.
But it is what it is. And now we're in it, guys. We're here, so
we're in the thick of it.
Yeah.
Dude,
yes, talk about something else while I look this up.
Yeah, fucking Donnie had some fucking whiskey, Abalor, and it's like fucking over 100 proof. I was like, oh my God. But it was so delicious. It was so good. And we like did like 8/10 of the bottle. It's like there's a little bit of the bottle left in the next morning. And I only got like 5 hours of sleep because I'm an asshole. And proceeded about my day. Have fucking, you know, fucking hungover. That's the word I was looking for. Hungover.
Yes.
And it hung
That's what happens
all day yesterday, all the way up through the fucking. That's why when we were promoting the That Was Extreme Zoom call for the top guys over there, I was like, I might be sober by then. And you're like, oh well, that's not a requirement. And I was like, oh well, here we go. And Lauren from Ad Free Shows is like, but why? Yeah, why be sober?
Yeah,
I was
seriously.
I was thinking about getting some of the hair of the dog and just drink on the air. Fuck it.
Why not? We'll save that for our Patreon.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the old Howard Stern shows when they would have drinking shows, and Artie would just get fucking wasted and just rowdy and stuff like that.
Yeah. But I think he's doing well.
We'll have to do
right?
one of those.
Isn't he doing well?
What's that?
Artie? Yeah.
He seems to be doing all right.
Yeah, I think he's doing clean and sober, which is nice.
He's a sweetheart, man. I got to meet him once. So I'm friends with Richard and Sal from the Stern Show. And they had a New Year, ironically, they had a New Year show here in Philly at Tower Theater, and I went to that. And got to meet him for like 2 seconds. So, you know, I'm going, oh, he's a sweetheart of a guy. Like we broke bread together, you know.
So it was Sheppy's Organic Cider, a classic traditional cider made from homegrown organic cider apples. They're the award-winning family cider makers since 1816. This is a nice picture that I took of it, okay? Nice. It was delicious.
Big fan of cider.
Yeah. It was 7% alcohol, okay? Per serving. So I drank one of these and then went to the other one. These things had 2.5 servings in them. So then I went to my second one, and I am, like I said, I am not one who can really handle, like I get drunk very easily, which is great. I'm a cheap date. But
yeah,
I'm like halfway through, and this is during the day. And man, I was just... Dude, I was just done. I was done at that point.
Dude, I went to England for, it was like 3 different indie promotions. I would work for one, travel to the next one, work with another. And we went out, the one guy, the promoter, Mad Dog, he took us all out to a bar afterwards. Yeah. And I'm just pounding drinks. And over there, I guess they announced the bar's closed. You got to leave. And people just leave their fucking drinks. And I pounded mine, and we're walking out the door, and there's like full pints of beer, and people are just like, oh, I'll just leave it. And then I see the guy go to fucking pour. Ho, 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 ho. Somebody just left. It was the promoter and my friend Gabby were there. And they're just watching me. I'm walking down the bar like fucking Bluto from Animal House. I'm just like, grabbed one, fucking downed it, grabbed another one, downed it, and he's proper British. He's like, fucking legend. I'm just like, free. The best booze is free booze.
And now every time your mouth herpes pop up, you will never forget that story.
No, never.
No. That's awesome, though. I mean, aside from, the communicable diseases that can happen from taking someone else's drink.
It's alcohol. It kills it.
Yeah.
That's
true.
Yeah.
That's science. No, that's hilarious. But no, like, honestly, like, that's, what are you going to do? You're going to walk away from that? Come on.
Walk away from free beer? Just because these jerk-offs didn't want to drink it. Just because they play by the rules doesn't mean I have to. I could be an obnoxious American and go, ho, 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 hold on.
I'll tell you, it's the one nice thing. Let me rephrase that. I was going to say it's the one nice thing about having kids. There are a lot of nice things about having kids. One of the nice things about having kids is when they don't eat their dinner or their dessert or whatever and they leave it on the plate. Well, I eat that shit up.
Daddy got to eat.
Yep. Yeah. So, hey, whatever happened to that shirt we were going to do, the head of the table or cleared the table, and we never did that.
I couldn't think of anything.
Slichter, what in the... No, it was on us.
Yeah, I'm pretty good with shit like that because I just rattled off to wreck every bathroom and leave, and that was our top.
But that was 100% true to your life. That was much like the, hey, here's the thing, all of you people who've had comments about my action figure. Look, we've all put on the COVID-19, if you will. I'm carrying a little holiday weight, still carrying a little baby weight, and yeah, okay, so I haven't lifted weights in about a year because I can't go to a gym and I don't have my home gym built yet because it hasn't been built yet. But
I don't even know a guy named Jim, let alone work out one. In the words of Tracy Smothers.
But the comments made by, I'm not going to say his name, but Joel Gertner and such about my action figure's arms possibly being larger than my arms. Well, let me tell you a story about a man whose arms are, they're a little bit bigger, but it's an action figure, people. It's what's supposed to happen. And how do you know what my arms look like under this
facade?
Yeah, come on. So yeah, I've been getting playful comments from people about the size of the muscles on my action figure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Motherfucker think they know you.
Come on. You don't know me. You don't pay my bills.
Who you ever?
Well, actually, I mean, technically, if you're on Patreon, you kind of do, but still.
Yeah. So you can say whatever fuck you want.
You say whatever you want to me.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
I got kids to feed.
Yeah. It's true. Oh, God. Holding up the Kleenex. Remember, it's still an audio show.
Yeah. Fuck it. I'm in fuck it mode.
Yeah. I'm in fuck it mode. Hey.
I slept
2021. Fuck it.
Yeah. Fuck it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm also my son hasn't. I haven't had a full night's sleep in. God, well, I mean, what I used to consider a full night's sleep before I had children, I haven't had a full night's sleep in almost 6 years. But a full night sleep now is like 3 hours straight because my son's still waking up, and even if my wife is up getting him, like it still wakes me up, Yeah. So
hit him with a blow dart.
Nah, he doesn't even care. That wouldn't even stop him. Yeah. He doesn't care.
Just shrug that shit off. Like, fuck. Kids are indestructible now.
Yeah, they really are.
I think about all the shit I did as a kid. If I did now, I'd be fucked.
Oh my God, dude, my son, my oldest son. Okay, they have incredible cardio. Your kids. Oh God, yeah, they didn't get it from me. He has not broken a bone. I need some blue chew because I don't have any wood in here. My table is table's metal and glass. Oh, that's wood. Hold on. There we go. Knock on wood. He hasn't. I don't even believe in that superstition. I don't know why I was doing that. But
I just knock on my head.
Yeah.
Knock on wood.
I don't know how he has not seriously injured himself. He walked on a bench and fell off. Thankfully there was snow and he was all bundled up, but he just completely fell off and just went right over, like landing on his head. He decided to try and carry something up the stairs because we told him, do not carry that up the stairs. So he went up, hit the second step, and fell backwards and just landed, like twisted and landed, like did like a twisting like swanton on the floor. And he's just like, and you just hear him, "I okay?" Like that's it, and he's fine. But the other night, this is a fun one you'll appreciate. I was trying to get him to go to bed, and he got these wall stickers of the characters from Descendants on Disney, and he's really into Uma. That's Ursula's daughter, and pretty girl. But so that's kind of, he's like, I want Uma on there. I'm like, your first pinup, okay? He wants that sticker on his wall. But then, I mean, because he's like, like most kids, the little give a mouse a cookie, like he wants more. He just, whatever it is.
Yep.
So I put that up. No, I want this one too. And I'm like, okay, well, that's it. You're only getting 2. Okay, I put 2 up. Well, I want this one now. So he gets all like angry. He's upset. I'm like, all right, that's it. They're going to come off the wall if you keep doing that. And he gets like so angry that he like grabbed onto my pants, right? Pulls himself back to like, so he has this like leverage to then like fling himself forward and punched me right in the balls. And so like my sister-in-law is there with us. So I'm trying to no sell because it's I mean, look, she's family, but she's like, come on, you still, we're in mixed company here. I'm not trying to sell that.
Yeah.
But holy shit, man, that felt like a punch in the balls. And it was the first one I'd received from one of my kids. I've been kneading the balls by them every time they like will run to give you a hug and jump up to you. And, you catch them, they jump up and their legs are just swinging and they just catch you. But yeah, no, he straight up punched me in the balls. And I had to explain to him. I was like, I like explained to him afterwards. I'm like, listen, pal, that's not what you cannot hit anybody, especially daddy in the old peanuts there. You can't. And he was, he felt bad. And I told him, I was like, would you like somebody to hit you there? And he's like,
because I will.
He told me, he's like, no, that's just for peeing. And I was like, yeah, it's not for getting hit. It's just for peeing and other stuff we'll talk about in about 10 years. But it's man, I
can't wait for that conversation.
What's that?
Oh, I can't wait for that conversation for you to have.
I just hope that we still have our podcast going strong by the time I'm doing the birds and the bees talk. Man, because that'll be one. Maybe let's just do it on the air. God, that's gonna be a horrible time. But yeah, no. So that was like, so then like, so we're like getting in the bed, and my sister-in-law leaves. And she knew right away. Like she goes to my wife, and she's like, "Yeah, you just punched him right in the, So I was like, so I'm all like, I'm like, oh man, had he been like an inch over? It was, man,
Why did the bell sound go off when he hit you there?
Yeah, because he got me in the ding dong. But no, it's
my nuts.
Yeah, it was bad. So when she leaves, I go to my wife. I'm like, I didn't want to say it in front of her, but that fucking hurt. And she's like, yeah, I figured. Why wouldn't you say it in front of her? I'm like, because I don't know why. That's not anything I ever thought about. But you're in mixed company. You don't tell somebody like that. You don't sell that. Come on.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah. So good times.
Good times.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, Meanie.
Yes.
You want to take a quick commercial break and then ask Meanie anything?
Took you a while. It took you a while to get that. Yeah, sure. I would love to.
All right. Let's do that then. I don't know what I'm waiting for. All right, we're gonna do this one. The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. If you want in on the best wrestling tees in the business, Homage has you covered. All the styling, profiling, limousine riding looks from the rings of yesterday and today in super soft fabric and comfortable fits you can't get enough of.
Yeah, that's right, man. I've been a fan of Homage for years. I've been wearing their shirts for years. Everything from pro wrestling to pop culture. And, dude, I get so many reactions out and about in the wild when I'm wearing my Dusty Rhodes shirt or I'm wearing I'm a Funker shirt or my old school ECW shirt. Homage makes shirts that are comfortable and stylish and definitely retro, which is the thing I've loved about them for years.
Mind of the Meanie listeners, you can use the coupon code MEANIE for 20% off your first purchase at homage.com. That's HOMAGE.com.
Ooh, yeah, the homage.com. Freak out! Well, that was that commercial. And Joshua took a powder to, I am assuming.
And we're back.
He's back. I totally didn't put over the fact that you.
Yeah, I left to go take a piss.
Well, the benefit I have.
How quickly was I back before that, finished?
Oh, it was like 5 seconds.
Oh, okay. I'm not even editing this out.
Nah, fuck it. Why?
Yeah.
That's the beauty of the show. Yeah. Well, I have the advantage that my bathroom. Like now, I'm in this new studio. The bathroom's right next door. So.
Yeah, mine is upstairs, so I have to. My kids, they came down and saw my basement. They're like, "Oh, this is amazing! We love it!" And they're like, "We've been thinking, can we put a bathroom down here in case we need to go potty?" And I'm like, "No, you can go up the stairs because it was way too expensive to put a bathroom in here." My if I can say real quick, my studio here is really coming together. But I have carpet now. I'm missing a door to my left. The door has not come in yet to cover over the HVAC system. The other door has to get cut down because once they installed the carpet, the door was too low. So they have to kind of cut a little bit on the bottom so it'll close easier. Standard thing, but I have a door leaning up against my wall now. The carpet is not the right carpet. I mean, it's the right thing, but it has a green tint to it. So I've been on the phone with these people. Right. They agreed when I sent them a picture of the sample sitting on top of the carpet, and I'm like, these are two different colors. But they're like, well, we're going to send you a new really large sample that's cut directly from this next batch. If that's the color you want, we'll then send the rest of it. And I'm like, well, how long is this whole process going to be? They're like, you should probably have your carpet within 3 weeks.
Oh.
So I thought about it, and I was like, oh, man, whatever. And then I realized, you know what? The rest of my basement's finished now. So I can just, my desk, and I got a couch in here, and I've got a little thing of bins and stuff. All this furniture, I can just slide out of the room. It's not a big deal. But I at least get the next 3 weeks, whatever else. I've got this carpet. It's more comfortable down here. So I figured that's fine. The only thing I didn't build is to either side of me, I'm going to have two of those IKEA DTOF things that I'll have we talked about before, my all the action figures of everybody I've worked with and cool stuff like that. And I don't know what else I'm going to put in them, but I bought 4 of them because I'm like, well, that's what'll fit. So anyone who can, I'm cropped here, but anyone who can see otherwise, it's like very weird. I've got like my thing with the ties here and the shelf, and then there's all this space. But eventually that'll all be filled in. That's the only thing I'm not doing, because that will be a real pain in the ass to have to like set up and then take down. Like, I'm not doing that. But yeah, but I'm, you know, so I've got carpet,
along,
but
man.
it's coming along.
I remember like the early stages of you saying, yeah, I'm going to be moving downstairs. And
yeah,
there was times where you would have to, you know, I mean, especially with the baby coming, you had to do stuff downstairs. We would do the stuff for Fight TV.
Yeah, the alternative commentary we did in my unfinished
you had to transfer
basement.
all your shit up and down the stairs. Like, Jesus Christ.
It was horrible. And that's the one thing that was the other thing I said was, I am not moving this equipment anymore. So I'm fine with taking everything that's sitting on this table and put some of those little slider things under the legs, slide it right into the other room, let them replace the carpet, slide it right back in. Because I have had to move this stuff up and down. I've done shows from the basement when it was unfinished, from up in my office. I did a show in the dining room of my house at one point. That was like a live one for Fight. One of the things I was just hosting for Fight, because I couldn't do it in the basement because they had like cut the power. It was like a whole. It was a disaster. But it's coming along, and I'm really excited to just start hanging things on the walls, and which there's no reason I can't do that. Where they're gonna put the other door, I'm waiting because I want to make sure I measure with like where the trim is, so it's in the right spot. But I'll hang some stuff.
Trim.
Yeah, you always got to measure the trim. Always got to measure the trim. Yeah. So, hey, Meanie.
Nice trim, Shernoff.
What's that?
Nice trim, Shernoff.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for noticing. You ready?
Yes.
Let's do it.
It's time to ask me anything. Ask me something.
All right. Welcome, everyone, to Ask Me Anything.
Actually, my favorite segment.
Let's start with this one. Adam Scholes writes, "What's the capital of Thailand?" Ask my son.
I was just about to fucking say that. Yeah. Son of a bitch. Beat me to it.
Let's see.
What was the name of the horse? Charlie Horse. Right in the leg.
I Am Dark Angel writes, I've just got Fight TV. What's the first match I should watch? The Shernie Awards. Meanie, do you? What's the first match on?
I concur.
I
concur.
This one
Ring
comes.
of Honor's on there, so
yeah, good. Pick something from Ring of Honor.
Yeah, there's a lot of good shit on there.
Yeah,
Ring of Honor's free.
Jonathan Chambers writes, question for both, favorite wrestler/wrestlers in MLW?
Me. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I've got mine. I know mine. If you
Richard Holiday's really
Richard Holiday.
Richard Holiday's fun. I got to work with him. Well, and also Mance Warner. Mance is
he's trying to go though, right? He's trying to get out of there, isn't he?
I don't know.
I thought he had asked for his release.
Not
Am I
sure.
making that up?
You could be. Well, you could be right. I'm unaware of what you speak.
Yeah. My favorite is Jacob Fatu.
Dude, that guy can go, and he can move.
Incredible.
He's like a human video game, and I don't mean that in a bad way. He does like things for his size that I'm envious of.
Yeah.
You know?
I did a On the Ropes, which, by the way, is on Fight TV. You can check out On the Ropes, and I did one, of course, with DeMeanie in the first episode. But I also did one with Jacob Fatu, which was really cool.
Awesome.
And then I've told the story before when we went out to eat with him afterwards, and he was telling Mance Warner, he's like, yeah, I'm going with the Usos. And he's like, the Usos are coming? And he's like, no, man, those guys was me and Calvin.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I'd say Jacob Fatu.
Yeah, dude, he's amazing.
Liam Savage asks on our Patreon here. Guys, quick question. What mics and headphones do you use when recording? Well, we use Rode podcast microphones to go along with our Rodecaster Pros, thanks to our good friend Jason, who hooked us up. And Senal, Senal headphones.
Which we should have a third.
We should have a third any day now. It'll be ordered. I'm going to order when we get off the air. I'll do it. Just remind me. But yeah, sorry, I had a bit of a brain.
That sounded like a car that's like a police car that just did a fucking skid and it went. I dare somebody to put that in a horror movie of a door slowly opening and they think it's the actual door, but it's just hit that again. And then he entered the room. Do that for like an audio book.
Yeah.
Then I opened the door.
Slowly opened the door as it creaked. They noticed he was in there. Shitting himself. But yeah, so we have the Rode podcast mics here. The one negative to that is I can't find anything for the little those cubes. We ordered some that they swore to me were going to fit and they didn't. Yeah.
I'm all about branding. You know, it would have been nice to have those cubes for our little Q&A last night.
Yeah, it would have been really great. I mean, thankfully we had all like I was wearing like a Mind of the Meanie shirt.
I got the gimmick behind my head.
You got the gimmick behind your head. I'm going to get, I guess I should put it where the belt is, but I want to get like a little one made because the big one, it's up there, but it's like too big. So I want to get a little one made that can then sit kind of like how my belt is sitting on like a little stand. Like I have on the other side of me, you can't see it because of the way I'm situated. But I've got my Shernie Award.
Ta-da!
Right here, everybody.
Very nice.
Shernie Award. I'm a 2-time Shernie Award winning host, I guess.
Well earned, I'm sure.
It is.
I'm sure.
First one I earned for accomplishment of the year, which that's this one right here, which was for getting Jerry Lynn a photo on the AEW website.
Nice.
And the second one was the I Can't Wait to Play With Myself award, which I won for our action figures. So, yeah. Thank you to the Academy. And here's a question. Here's a question from the Ringside Rant, our good friend RJ. If a new wrestling fan came to both of you, what match or feud would you tell them to watch first?
Probably Rock and Roll Express versus Midnight Express. That was a fun feud because it spanned over a couple different promotions. You know, that's a sign of a good feud. That, you know, you can always say, oh, you know, this guy versus that guy, and the feud was just in that organization, that promotion. But if you get a feud that spans over the course of many promotions, that's a great feud.
Yeah.
You know, Midnight Express and Rock Roll Express, I think they feuded in Watts' Mid-South, and then they went over to the Crockett's, and they drew big money, and they had hellacious matches, and some of the best tag. I'm a big fan of tag team wrestling, and mostly because my career was tag team wrestling with the BWO, and prior to that I was in tag teams. So yeah, for me, to watch a really good feud would be Rock and Roll Express, Midnight Express, and if you're a young aspiring wrestler, watch those matches and watch Ricky Morton sell.
Yeah,
one of the best sell jobs in the business.
I would probably say, just off the top of my head, obviously we're from slightly different eras, but I would say Bret Hart versus Stone Cold WrestleMania 13.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to think. See, I guess I took it more. This is a new wrestling fan. I took it as like you're trying, like someone's like, hey, okay, I want to try this wrestling thing. Like as a fan, let me see what's it all about.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, I remember bringing in the tape the day after the King of the Ring where Taker threw Mankind off the Hell in a Cell. And I kind of pitched that to like all of my non-wrestling friends as like, let me show you something. And there were people who were like, holy shit. Now that is not showing you wrestling. Exactly. You know? Right. Whereas something like, you know, Brett and Austin, I felt told such an incredible story. And I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on of matches, you know, and feuds that you could find. But those would be my two if I was trying to like convince someone like, hey, there's like some, you know, but then, I mean, there's also anything that with like emotion.
Yeah. Anything
with like real emotion to it. Yeah, great question. Puzuzu at Doom Buggy Dev writes, what are your thoughts on New Jack as a performer?
He's an amazing, believable performer. Probably one of the best underrated promos in the business. Whether he, you know, working, no matter what promotion, whether it's Smoky Mountain or ECW. I mean, he can get, speaking of emotion, he can stir up an emotion, you know, in any crowd, you know. So one of the most underrated promos in the business, one of the most charismatic characters in the business, because when you see New Jack, you see that's him. You know, the best characters are ones who bring in their own character and just turn up the volume. And New Jack was the genuine article. So, one of the best characters, one of the most underrated characters, you know, in the ring, promo-wise, stuff like that. He can just rile the crowd up into a frenzy, you know.
Darren Allen at Darren Keepsakes writes, hashtag Ask Meanie, if you were assembling a BWO 2021, which guys would you want in it with you? Any workers in any companies? Now, we've gotten questions similar to this in the past.
Yeah.
Are there anyone that's like jumping out kind of since the last time we talked about stuff like this that jumps out to you as like, man, I could have some fun with them in like a new BWO?
I mean, I would love to have an RJ City in there, you know, because it just he's a great character, a great, you know, performer. He's unflappable. If you throw a topic at him, he can have you know, a response.
Yeah, that guy doesn't flap.
No, certainly does not flap. He's unflappable. RJ City would be great in the BWO. It's, you know, if we're going like for comedic purposes, parody purposes, or whatever. Him. I fucking love Danhausen. Talk about a guy.
He's very nice, very evil.
Yeah. Talk about a guy who made the most of the apocalypse.
Yeah.
With his
I think the two of them.
Both.
RJ
I mean,
City and Danhausen. Yeah.
I didn't know
who they were before this, to be honest. RJ City, I'd heard his name before. Yeah. I'd never even heard of Danhausen. I hadn't heard of either of those guys before. And I know tons of people had, but I had not. And then it's just all this time, you know, you're sitting around, you're learning new things, and man, what impacts they made.
Yeah. They made the most of this shit time period. Where, you know, most wrestlers are just like, man, I wish there was a show I can be wrestling on right now. Well, they said, fuck it. There's a world of social media. Let's do, you know, make the most of it and get ourselves over online. And to the point where, you know, RJ was, you know, doing cartoons before we were doing Meanie Toons, and we're like, oh, how do we do that?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But, yeah, those two for sure. Man, there's so much talent out there. those would be my first two picks right off the bat, though. RJ City, Danhausen, and
I thought I was
probably
your Bish, right?
yeah. Well, yeah,
Wasn't
you
I
are
the BWO's Bish? Is that what you told me?
You are the Bish. Yes, you could be the Bish.
Don't you forget about me. RJ is back again. Guess who's back? Tell a friend. RJ says, if each of you had the pencil of your own respective promotions, what would you book as your opening match, mid-show match, and main event? So I'm trying to...
We've had this question before, too.
We've had something similar to this. So more so than the actual talent and who the actual talent is, I would say it's more along the lines of finding, I would start things off, for me, I'd probably open it with established, like, cruiserweight style, like, very quick to open it up, get things moving.
The opening match of any show is the pace setter, like to set the table. And the match before intermission should be your first main event to send people into intermission and it's such a mood to where, like, they can't wait for the show to start, and then, you know, send them into the intermission happy or, you know, buzzing. Yeah. You know, because then, you know, by the time, you know, when the opening match of the second half starts, they're already, you know, dying for the show to continue, you know, and then the first match, the curtain jerker, the popcorn match, the opening match, the curtain jerker match after intermission, the popcorn match. The popcorn match equals to how you started off the show. You got to kick off that second half for another match to keep the flow going, and then, you know, you have your main event. Any good show should be peaks and valleys, you know, bring them up, bring them down. Because you can't keep going up, because but then by the time the main event rolls around, people are exhausted and not
you gotta
reacting.
have those you know, let me down matches. You definitely have to.
And that's not a bad thing.
No.
It's just a different flow.
Everyone plays a role on the show, and that's part of it.
To say it brings them down, that's not an insult. It's just
No, for me, I would kick things off with like a more of a cruiserweight, fast paced, you know, flippity flop, type of match.
But keep it in the ring.
Yeah, keep it in the ring,
Kinda.
pal. Come on. No, but I would do that. I would definitely keep it in the ring. First match, you have to keep it in the ring. You can't because I don't know. To me, I'm old school in that regard. Like, you keep it in the ring in the beginning, because then when someone finally gets out of the ring later on in the show, it means more. But because now it's spilling to the outside. If instead, otherwise, I don't know. That's just me. But
so many. There's the one thing I couldn't. I had to stop watching some shows just because everybody's doing a fucking suicide dive to the outside. And
the suicida or whatever.
Yeah, it's just
to me,
it loses its effectiveness if it's just. A dive should be done out of desperation.
Yes, I agree. And when I'm saying the cruiserweight and stuff, see, I believe those guys can work without having to dive to the outside. I'm talking fast paced. I'm talking a fast paced match is what I want to see. So it doesn't have to be all the flips. It can be, you know, catch as catch can, but just a quick, you know, in the middle. I think I would end up putting whatever your like grudge match is. You know, like one, like you said, like the double main event. Like, so one of the ones, but to me, the world title is always last. That always goes on last. So,
and the champion should always come out second, in my opinion.
I agree completely.
I hate when the champion comes out before the challenger.
Yeah,
then your belt means shit. Yeah. You know,
I agree. I think there are some things that need to stay as like rules in the business, or it just or everything just kind of falls apart. You know, like
the main rule has always been like the heel comes out first or whatever. But I think you change that up when if the heel's the champion, the champion comes out last. Yeah,
and I think it's like, you know, there's always been
the belt.
There's always been this excuse in wrestling, especially in the WWE, that's just like, oh, well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You know, but I look at it and I go, if you're watching a movie, you know, in like, or any Hollywood production, it's like if somebody was just like, yeah, we don't really need to like render the green screen on that section. Like, it's good enough. They see, you know, we can just make it look like he's throwing a car. Like, he'll just mime it. We don't need to actually CGI the car into it. Like, you go, well, that just ruined the whole freaking movie for me. Because it took me.
We don't have to edit out the wires that he's
exactly, yeah, because it takes you out of it. And it's, I think so many times pro wrestling, especially again, WWE, like you got to figure out, who are you? You know, like what are you? Are you entertainment? Because if you're entertainment, hold yourself to the standards of television and movies. Are you sports? Okay, well then maybe back off a little bit on some of your big entertainment crap. You know, be a little less with some of the stories that are more sensational in that regard. That to me is just like, I said it before, and it's not, lazy isn't the word, because clearly these writers aren't lazy, you know, and a lot of them are writing to an audience of one. But to me, like, go that extra mile. Why is the show not as good as it used to be? That's part of it. It's not all of it, but it's part of it, I think. Yeah. You know, like put forth some thought, some effort. And if you can go, oh, well, they didn't in the Attitude Era. Like, yes, yeah, there are things in the Attitude Era that were horrible. That were absolute garbage.
Right.
But we're not in the Attitude Era anymore. You would not go to, if you went to see the Avengers movie and it was shot and edited with mid to late 90s technology, you would have walked away going, that was not good. That was a disappointment, because we expect more. We expect a higher quality from smaller production, you know?
The Attitude Era was over because there was, I mean, before there, you know, back in the day when wrestling first started, it was live television.
Right.
But now where we're, you know, WWE had been pre-taped for so long, we were in the advent of, you know, having weekly live events. So you had to keep people's attention from flipping to the other channel. So a lot of stuff was hot-shotted, hot-dogged, whatever you want to call it.
A lot of people, you know, they always wonder, like, what happened to all those wrestling fans? Where are all of them? And my answer to that, there are a lot of answers, but one as a big whole is they weren't wrestling fans. That's a big part of it. You look at the Attitude Era. I remember my brother he was getting half hot back in the day, because this is a guy who's a lifelong wrestler.
It's hard to see him being angry. I can't see him being angry.
It's fun.
Yeah. Said like a true brother.
Yeah, we'll have him on at some time and I'll piss him off. But he, you know, I remember him telling me, like, he was so pissed off because, like, he would go into school during the Attitude Era. He's there in high school, and you got all, like, the jocks coming in. You know, they're like, oh, dude, I was so drunk last night. We were having a Raw party or Nitro party or whatever. We're watching Stone Cold just doing this. And he's sitting there, you know, he's remembering the days where you don't dare show up wearing a wrestling T-shirt or you're going to be made fun of, you know. And all of a sudden now it's the cool thing. It's the Austin era. It's all that stuff, you know. And that's my feeling on it. Those people, they didn't keep watching wrestling.
It reminds me of Dave Grohl saying they would be touring with Nirvana. All of a sudden, all the people that made fun of them in high school are in the front row singing their songs. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
It was the popular, Nirvana was the popular band, and people, you know, they lost control of it. It wasn't no longer in their hands. It was in the hands of, you know, pop culture.
And that's the thing. Wrestling was in the hands of pop culture. And I think that what happened there was you had a lot of people who were obsessed with it as the flavor of the month or year or whatever it was, and they were really into it. And it got better and better, and it became this whole, like, you know, oh, we're all going to get together and we'll all party. And, you know, the Nitro parties were a big thing that was going on. Everybody was all into this.
I'm Lee Marshall.
Yeah.
You know.
And this party is great. But, you know, he was the voice of Tony the Tiger, right? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Just in case
that's amazing.
In case people didn't get that. But no, I think
Lee Marshall had fuck you money.
Yeah. Did you watch the Shernies yet?
Oh, absolutely.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh. Because I said "fuck you" money on there, and I wasn't sure if you were referencing it. Okay. Well, I know you were. I didn't expect you to be watching it live on New Year's Eve, and it's
not live. I watched it like as I was eating my cereal this morning.
Ah, okay. Well, you have to tell me.
I didn't watch much of anything yesterday because I was hungover.
Yeah, you have to tell me what you thought about it off air.
I was watching my eyelids yesterday.
Yeah, I was watching your eyelids too.
What? What the fuck?
But no, that's what I think. I think those wrestling fans just don't exist anymore. I think like they're not, or not don't exist. Like I hope they're all alive and well, but I think they're, I don't think they were real wrestling
those people because God bless those people because they paid my bills.
Yeah, but I'm saying like I don't think a lot of them were real wrestling fans. I think they were fans of what was going on.
Yeah.
Much in the way, and I'll put it like much in the way that significantly more people have seen Star Wars than are huge Star Wars fans.
Right.
So it's like you have your thing. Star Wars comes out, and you're like, well, we've all got to go. It's Star Wars. You've got to go see it or whatever. Yeah, I didn't, but you got to go see it.
I think I saw one in the theater.
That's what I'm saying. It's like
I saw Return of the Jedi in the theater. That's about it.
Yeah, but it's like it's it's the talk. Oh, we got to see, and it opens up this huge thing. But they're not diehard. And in a lot of ways, you can talk about that with any television show, any like whatever. Like you've got your fans, and then you've got your fans that 20 years after the show's off the air are still going to conventions to see those people. And that's the thing. The people who were partying in high school watching Stone Cold and loving every second of it, they're not the people who, most of them, if they didn't watch before then, they're not the ones who are coming up trying to get autographs at the convention 20 years later. Those are the real wrestling fans.
They're the same folks in the 80s who watched because of Hulk Hogan.
Exactly.
They saw Hulk Hogan on the Grammy Awards with Dolly Parton. They're like, oh, who's that guy?
Yeah.
And they watched for a little bit, and then it was cool to watch, and then, their attention span got brought on to something else kind of thing.
Yeah.
As we would say,
and that's fine.
As we would say, the casual fan.
Yes, and that's fine. And the thing is, there's always that age-old question: how do you get the casual fan back?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I don't think you get them back. I think if they left, maybe they're not going to come back. Maybe you need to find new casual fans, because especially today, you're not going to get those people who are watching, the NWO and DX and Stone Cold and like we're in it for that style. You're not going to get them back with Baron Corbin and, he's having his feud with Shorty G, which thank God that's done. But, like I'm just off the top of my head, I
like Baron, though. I like him just because
I'm not saying, but what I'm saying is he is not going to draw. I love Drew. Drew McIntyre is a good friend, and I think a great wrestler. I think he's doing an amazing job as champion, especially in this time. But if you were the guy who has those fond memories of DX and the NWO and Stone Cold versus Mr. McMahon and that whole time, and you go, I haven't watched wrestling in 15 years. Let me see what's going on. Forgetting even the pandemic. Like, I don't think Drew is going to be where the person goes, oh, man, I got to watch. Like, no, they might be like, that dude's big. That dude's good. But they're not going to be like, this reminds me of of the heyday of wrestling. I don't know if I'm articulating it well, but I'm just saying, like, it's not anything against today, but I feel like they need to forget about the old casual fan because they don't have a product for the old casual fan. They need to try and bring in the new casual fan. What's going to hook them? What's going to get them? And honestly, to me, I think AEW has their finger on the pulse far better than WWE does. And, maybe that's just me, but
that's, I like AEW too, but they're not without their faults.
Oh God, they absolutely have their faults.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, they absolutely have their faults.
I mean, when they came out, they're like, oh, we're going to be more sports oriented, which made me believe they're going to be more New Japan style. And I was like, oh, that's great.
Yeah, and then
But there's things they can polish up on.
Absolutely, 100%. But I feel like
That's why, when people are like, oh, the Wednesday Night Wars, I was like, can we leave the name war out of it? Because during the Monday Night War, we were talking about people fighting over, full numbers in the ratings. Like, right now they're feuding over decimal points, not full points. Back in the Monday Night Wars, they were doing 8 ratings, not 0.32 whatever ratings.
Yeah,
that was a war.
Oh God, yeah.
When a company's literally being threatened to shut down.
Well, there's also the other side of it where you didn't have Fox paying you billions of dollars to be on. Like, with all due respect,
of course,
it's not the same as where you're like fighting for advertising money in the same way. And it's far more.
And you're not publicly, WWE. I think one of the weaknesses for WWE is when they became publicly owned.
Yep.
Because now they answer to people. Before, the Attitude Era was like, fuck you, we'll do whatever we want. Fuck the Parents Teacher Council or whatever. Whoever was trying to shut them down, that just fueled them to go, oh, okay, you didn't like that? I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it twice as hard.
Yes.
They lost that wrestling rebellious spirit that pro wrestling had.
Yeah.
But now they entered the shareholders, and like you said, Fox is paying them hundreds of millions of dollars. Where's the spark? Where's the inspiration? Where's the juice that makes you get out of bed and go, let's fuck this day up, in a good way?
And that's the thing. Like, I know, just from listening to Something to Wrestle, I know that Bruce Pritchard is working, 27 hours a day. Like, I know, like, so then I look at it and I go, why? And I don't mean this to be, to be funny. Why is it as bad as it is when these people, as talented as they are, are writing for the roster, as talented as they are, why is it as bad as it is?
Because the main filter being Vince.
I guess I mean, and I hate that excuse.
But it's not.
But it has to be the truth. Yeah, I mean, it's.
You
know better than I do.
How is NXT this brilliant thing that people love to watch?
Yeah.
And the main part, and why is it when people go from NXT over to WWE, they're not the same? So
is this just an entire company filled with people all, as soon as Vince walks out of the room, going, fuck, this is terrible? He walks back in going, boss, this is the best. Yeah. And maybe, and listen.
The NXT has more of the pulse on what the fans want.
Yeah.
Hence why they're not, pillaging the indies, but they see what works. And,
that's also the thing. You talk about like pillaging the indies. Like, why not?
Yeah.
Why not pillaging? People are like, oh, they're
trust me,
trust me,
that talent wants to be pillaged.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, they're stealing all the talent. Well, yeah, wow. That's great. That's great for the talent. Where are they stealing them from? The people who don't have them under contract?
Yeah, the people who are paying them in fruit baskets and hot dogs.
I hope the no one who's your current boss doesn't mind when I offer you a 5-year deal. It's ridiculous. And
it's like when I worked with ECW and you see somebody go off to WWE. We didn't go, oh, that guy deserted us. That meant, oh, I get to step up and I'm the next in line to get a push here. So it's a business. But, ultimately there needs to be that rebellious spirit that I don't see on the main thing in WWE. And I'm sure the guys are happy to be there and happy to be working and stuff like that. But
and again, I've had the privilege of being backstage at AEW.
Dude, give me 1 second. So I worked with Bruce Pritchard at MLW as most recently as MLW. And the MLW product was great. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. There. Bruce, a lot of us I think thought he was going to be the savior when he came back because we love Something to Wrestle. And he's so open about the bad decisions that were made. And is so able to look at it in hindsight and go, well, I would have done this different. I would have done that. And you kind of have this idea that, it's almost like Conrad's on, which isn't happening, but you have this idea of like, he's coming up with creative and he's sitting there talking to Conrad, and Conrad, who's the voice of all of us, is giving him these great ideas. And that's not it. Bruce Pritchard's very talented, incredibly talented on his own.
Extremely intelligent, extremely creative, because I've seen it.
But, like you said, if Vince McMahon says, I want this. Vince McMahon's the one who's paying the bills. And
that's the judge. That's the jury. That's the execution.
And I got to tell you, I am not so prideful that if I were working on, if I were head of creative there, I mean, if I'm getting paid well, I'm going to go, all right, boss, that's what you want. I mean, I would bring it up and say, here's my opinion. Yeah. But, yeah.
Just, and I'm not, this isn't me saying fuck Vince.
No.
Vince is one of the most creative people in the business, but at some point.
I also don't buy into the Vince McMahon's lost his mind. He's out of touch. Like, no. I get in some ways, I think he's always been a little out of touch from things I've heard. But I feel like Vince McMahon knows what he's doing. And that's where my question kind of becomes like, well, what is he doing? Because that's what I think it is I think Vince McMahon is playing a totally different game than we think he is. And I think his vision of what the WWE is very different than what we all think it is. Like, I don't think he wants the WWE in any way, shape, or form to resemble the Attitude Era or, the 80s
right.
or even the mid 2000s.
The Attitude Era was born out of survival.
Necessity, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, WCW was... The funny thing is, WCW was killing them in the ratings, and they were doing it with WWE creations.
Yeah.
Eric Bischoff was being very successful with Ted Turner's pocketbook and the stars that Vince McMahon made, not Eric Bischoff made.
It
was kind of like a cop being shot with his own gun,
Yeah. Yeah, in a lot of ways, like that's the thing. It's
very self-inflicted. If he would just said to Nash, okay, and Nash and Hall, okay, I'll pay you, and they would have stayed, there might not have been this WCW.
I don't think you could have done the NWO without Hall and Nash.
Yeah.
It just
because they had Hogan.
Yeah, and Hogan
was kind of getting a little stale.
Hogan could have turned heel. It wouldn't have had because Hogan never brought the cool factor.
Right.
Kevin
Nash is one of the coolest motherfuckers in the business.
Yeah.
And so is Scott Hall, but number one is Kevin Nash and then Scott Hall. But they fed off each other, and they were students of the business. And, I mean, you hear about all those car rides with the Clique, and all they talked about was wrestling and how can we make wrestling better.
Yeah.
And then they jumped ship to the other side,
Yeah.
And the rest is history.
I think like Sean Jones on Patreon says Vince thinks he's directing a movie. And I think there's a lot of aspects to it where he sees it that way.
Yeah.
And I mean, look, I'm just kind of
like Dusty wanted to make movies,
What's that?
Dusty said, "We make movies, baby."
Yeah, that's what Vince said too. As he took a swig of his water and Beyond the Mat. Anthony Camarada says Dustin Rhodes posted a picture on his Facebook of him in blue face paint. What would Meanie think of reviving their feud or doing tag matches, teaming with him if he got the opportunity?
I'm available. Like I said, I at least want to work for AEW once. If they do it, run Philly, have me come out and do something.
Yeah.
I would love to work with Dustin. I'm a tag team guy. Me and him can do a tag. He can outwork me and or whatever. I mean, we tagged before and we had a great time. I would love to do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely would love to do some for AEW at least once.
It's going to happen.
Hopefully in Philly.
It's going to happen. When they come to Philly, it's going to happen. I mean,
if I went to Memphis and they did a salute to the Memphis wrestling, come to Philly, do a salute to ECW.
You got Taz there. You got look, Tony Khan's a huge fan. I have no problem. I will reach out to him personally. I mean, he won't answer, and I don't have his personal contact information. But for you, Meanie, I will stand outside his house with a sign. A sign that says "Book Meanie."
Like the movies say anything with the boombox.
Yes. Here I am. I'm just
Tony.
A man standing in front of a Tony. asking for a chance for the meanie, something like that.
Yes.
Anyway, whatever. Yeah, I think it's gonna happen at some point. You working for AEW, but I mean, as much as I would love to see you,
I'd love
air,
to be a producer.
I was just gonna say, as much as I'd love to see you on air, I think there's a real opportunity. You know,
I'd love to work with the younger talent. You know, the older talent. I mean, their experience.
Yeah, fuck the older talent.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Nah, fuck them.
I'm not working with Jericho, that Mark.
Jericho doesn't need the Blue Meanie telling him what the fuck to do. I know my role. I know my pecking order.
Oh,
but like, hey, I'm a good muse. You know, I'm sure I could. You know, I can come up with ideas. You know, he was one of the people I texted the Thunderdome idea to, and he said, "Dude, that's awesome. I'll pitch it."
yeah.
And then WWE came out with it first, but definitely, I would love to work with the younger talent. Let's go over promos. Let me go over guys with promos, character development.
I was starting to say earlier that I'd had the privilege of being backstage at so many important shows for AEW, and I would, you know, obviously I have my friends there that I interact with, but the rest of the time when something's happening, you know, you shut up and stand there and watch as you know.
Yeah.
I never in a million years would be like, here's an idea I have, guys, and I hear you talking over this, you know. But I loved when I would watch guys like Dustin. I remember very early on him like talking to Sammy Guevara and just being like, okay, let's kind of, when you're doing your promo, think of it this way, think of it that way, you know, and like little things like that you hear.
Cadence, nuance.
I remember almost pinching myself, and this is definitely, you know, look, I'm not trying, it's been long enough, and kayfabe is what it is.
Yeah.
But I remember Jericho, Darby Allin, and Dean Malenko standing around the ringside going over Jericho and Darby Allin's match. And I don't even know if Malenko, maybe he just happened to have been there because everyone was around ringside at the time. I don't know if he was the one, you know, producing the match or not. Can't get much better, you know, if he wasn't. But and I remember
to be a fly on. That's a great wall to be a fly on.
I am like sitting in the chairs, like just kind of, you know, hanging out, waiting for them to clear so I can film some stuff, because you can't obviously film while people are, you know, there. But I was hanging out there and I'm just watching, and I'm thinking to myself, if I could just do this every day, just sit and watch Chris. Like, I learned more in 5 minutes of Chris Jericho and Dean Malenko and Darby. Nothing against Darby Allin. He had some great ideas, but he was very much quiet and listening when Chris Jericho and Dean Malenko are there. That kid is smart enough to know. And like, but I'm just, it's like the little things of just like, and like watching the gears turn was just so amazing. And it's something as a you know, professionally, I would love to go back there and be able to do more stuff with Fight TV, you know, for them. I would love an opportunity to work with them one day if an opportunity ever happened for me. But as a fan and a person who just loves this business, that's what fan wouldn't pay if you said to them, hey, for $500 you can sit and watch Chris Jericho go over his match.
Oh, that'd be $1,000.
Oh my God. It's yeah. So I'm sitting there like thinking to myself, like, this is I'm getting paid to do this. Like, this is, you know, this is amazing. So that's just, you know, but I look at it and I've seen the incredible talent that they have, and I've gotten to watch it. And I just, for the last 41 weeks, you and I have gotten to talk, and all the times that you and I have talked off air. And again, it sounds like I'm just blowing smoke, and I don't need to blow smoke to you, because I, you know how I feel, Meanie. But the reality is, I think you should be somewhere working behind the scenes, producing, and just explaining things. We've talked about this so many times. You know, people who are longtime listeners, they know this. I just think you've got. I think your on-air persona keeps fans, I think, and possibly even people backstage from having you jump to the front of their mind of like, hey, who would be a good producer? Because I think, you know, no one's just like, oh, we've got this real like catch as catch can match we need to put together. We should get that. You know, remember when the Blue Meanie and Nova were coming out and, you know, and dancing and like, you know what I mean? They don't compare it, but you have this, I don't know, whatever. I'm blowing smoke.
I've been in plenty of car rides. I've listened to plenty of, dude, I said it last night. One of the greatest things I ever got to do was listen to Raven put matches together and his psychology, and listen to Paul Heyman pitch ideas, and, you know, learning from Al Snow and being on many of those car rides. I've been on car rides with Mick Foley, Al Snow. Yeah. And just being a fly and absorbing and being a sponge, you know, and absorbing all that stuff. To the fact that, you know, when I went to WWE, you know, I created the Val Venus character, which was one of the most memorable characters from the Attitude Era. I'd be sitting in the audience, sitting in the crowd pre-show, like kind of like you said you were with AEW, and somebody said to Val, "Go find Meanie," and I would give Val Venus his promo.
Yeah, that's amazing.
He'd come up to me, ask me, and I was like, "Well, how about this, that, and the other thing?" And then we go up to Ed Ferrara. I'd be like, "This is what I came up with for Val Venus." And he would pitch it to him and be like, "Okay." And I would produce Val Venus's promos for WWE.
Yeah, it was very much like when Malenko said to Jericho, "Go find Shernoff." And and I'm like, "Listen, kid, here's the finish." You know, but in all seriousness, and I think people in the business,
I feel awkward saying it like I'm bragging, but
it's not bragging. If it's
exactly what happened.
Yeah, it's the truth. And
I would ask me ideas for his hardcore matches on the house shows, and then I'd go watch the match, and he would just do stuff that I had pitched. Yeah, you know?
And that's, I mean, I'm expecting this. We need the world to just get back to normal. And
I'm dying
and then,
for it, but
I mean,
the right way.
Yes, the right way. Not by trying to will it back to normal. That doesn't happen. Wear your fucking masks.
Yeah. Give me that fucking microchip.
Put that chip. You shove it in my right in my arm. Man. Well, Meanie.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's
for Ask Meanie.
Yeah, man, that was a good one.
Yeah, and I think that's just about it for our show.
We went out to the woods for a little bit.
What's that? Yeah, no, this was fun.
Yeah,
this was good.
I love when something inspires me to go off into the weeds and the brushes and just get lost in conversation. So
we all love to hear it. That's what we're here for. We get into the mind of the Meanie. There's no.
I love to be able to talk where people, you know, just want to listen.
Yeah. And we thank you all so much for wanting to listen. We genuinely do. This is the first show of 2021. And Meanie, this is if you look at it that way, we got 51 more to do this year, and that excites me. That's really exciting to me.
My weeks go by so quick because I'm waiting for this.
Yeah.
All the other stuff we do, we're pretty busy.
Yeah,
and to the point where I was like, I wonder if I do enough. You know, am I doing enough to promote this? Am I doing enough to promote that, or that, this and the other thing? You know.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm always worrying that I'm not. I always worry I'm not doing enough.
But I think you are, because I think people are they're definitely learning more about us. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Slichter just sent 3 images.
Oh my God. All right.
This is the first
breaking
one.
news.
The first one right here.
Hold on. There's a glare.
I know it's tough to see. I'll see. You know what? I'll hold it back here, and I think I can zoom in here so you can see it.
Donnie and Bev's.
Donnie and Bev's, like an old sitcom. It's over at Donnie and Bev's. I love it. Yeah. This one isn't so much a T-shirt as it is kind of like a. Here we go.
I inspire
myself. And then Cunt of a Man. So
Cunt of a Man.
I don't know if that might be a Patreon exclusive. But the I inspire myself. I think is going to, I think with this whole background and everything, I could see that like going on a mug.
Absolutely.
Instead of like a t-shirt, I think we put that like a mug.
That's a mug.
Slichter, knocking it apart. Donnie and Bev's, I don't know how you feel about it and how Donnie and Bev feel about it, but I think that's amazing.
Well, we definitely have to get them a shirt if we do that.
Yes. Oh, God.
It's only fair. Yeah. And make that Patreon exclusive too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll do that. So hey, patreon.com/mindofthemeanie if you want a Donnie and Bev shirt or to get the sneak peek. Hey, that's another cool thing for Patreon.
They really are our best friends, just, good people,
Yeah.
And we could be ourselves.
And here's my feeling.
Sometimes you go out and about and you feel like you have to put on a persona,
Look, what are best friends for if you can't monetize them? So, I don't know. I would happily make a shirt having to do with Calvin, but I can't figure out how do you spell, we need to wait. Calvin's a magician. You know that, right?
Yes.
So Calvin's a magician.
Ta-da!
I want him to open our live show. Like with like
you had
magic.
me. I want him to open.
Yeah, I want him to open. Meanie was drinking.
He's drinking some fucking shit fuel over here.
Oh man. Ooh, swallow.
All right, listen to this. This is Yokozuna. Now coming down the aisle, Yokozuna. 5 seconds ago, Tracy would have punched me in the face because she hates when I do that. But.
Wow, that is amazing. Patreon.com/mindofthemeanie. You can see how he's making that sound. Wow.
Let me put my pants back on.
Oh, we did have another question. Is there something special planned for the big 5-0 episode from Anthony Camarada?
Shit.
Is there
That's
something
coming up quick?
Is there something special planned?
Oh, of course.
Yeah. It's going to, let me put it this way. It is going to be somewhere between the best show we have ever done and the worst show we've ever done. There it is.
Yes.
But yeah, I want when we do a live show, I want Calvin to do some like
in all seriousness
to open the show with magic.
Absolutely.
And
because we would need it.
Yeah.
Can you make some fans appear?
Yeah. That's what, like, everybody, and we love all of our Pod Squad members, Patreon and not Patreon. And we'll get people who will kind of be like, when are you coming to, Nebraska? When are you coming to Chicago? When are you coming to, and I like our answers, we have no idea, because one of the really, really cool parts of this community that we've been able to build and be a part of is also one of the negatives to doing a live show. And the cool thing about it is that we have people from all over the world. Like, we got another message from our coach Sal from Nicaragua. Like,
oh yeah,
dude's like a big fan. He's planning on having Mind of the Meanie shirts for all of his like team that he has there. I don't know if it was a soccer
that's
team
amazing.
Or whatever. Like, and it's so cool. Shout out to him.
Do like baseball, do some baseball style shirts or something like that.
Yeah, we should do something
like 3/4 sleeve.
Yeah, but that's so cool. But he's not going to be there if we go to New York or what?
Or McCuskers.
Or McCuskers, right. We do a show in McCuskers. The only reason we're more comfortable with
which we will be doing a show in McCuskers.
We will definitely be doing a show in McCuskers.
They've even said, "Hell, you got to do a show here." I was like, "Yeah."
I want to do a show at the ECW Arena at some point. I would love to see if we could pay piggyback off of a show. We would definitely piggyback off of a show.
Like a convention or something.
Yeah,
like
something like that. Be a part of it. But like, there's opportunity, but that's our big thing, I think, is we need to piggyback off. We need to find a place where we have, we can look it up and see
baby steps.
Yeah, but we need to find a show that we can piggyback off of.
Yeah.
But
it's not like we have like I'm a big fan of WIP.
Mm-hmm.
The local sports station here in Philly. My favorite show I listen to every day is Marks and Reese.
Mm-hmm.
If they did like an event here, it would be a huge turnout because they're Philadelphia specific. All their listeners in Philly, blah blah blah, and all the people from Philly. Like we have, like you said, we have fans in Nebraska, Chicago, Arizona, Scotland, Nicaragua. I'm amazed I said that word.
Yeah,
because I
was worried sick.
I have no lips, so I can't pronounce certain things. So, like Tracy says, you just have a slit.
Wow, I'm not going to touch that.
Yeah. Well, I'm Irish, so I'm like a fucking light switch.
Oh,
no worse than when you take off your pants and somebody goes, "Oh, that's cute."
Oh, that's so cute. Oh. Man, do you ever have anybody expect it to be blue? Or at least
Sometimes
it's
purple.
At least it's drapings. Well, it's purple when you've been sitting on it.
It's blue when I roll over on it in the middle of the night. Oh, Jesus. Roll over on your pee boner, Oh, I'm the only person that gets a pee boner.
We talked about Boker Boner. Yeah, there. Remember?
Yeah.
Hey, Slichter, can you do a Boker Bonaire, but like find some like Hebrew font or something?
Make a dick
and like a
shirt.
rising sun or something like that. Maybe like a really, really thick tree. I don't know. It's good. Yeah, I'm an ideas man.
Yeah, I'm ahead of my time. Too bad it's only 5 minutes.
Oh man, I just don't want this show to end.
Yeah, same here. But I'm hungry.
Not just because I have to clean a bathroom. I promised my wife I would clean the bathroom for her birthday, and I
come clean my bathroom.
Only clean 2 of them. I'm not cleaning your bathroom. No, God, no. Oh,
Need an ET fucking hazmat suit. Looking like a motherfucker trying to kidnap ET over here.
On that note. Oh, man. Well, this has been an awesome episode, Meanie.
Yes, it has.
This has been a blast. Kicking off the new year.
I love all of you guys. I love you, Josh. I love our fans.
I love you, Meanie. Squad.
Yeah, seriously. I've said that a couple times. You're like, oh, yeah, I got to go. Bye. Yeah.
No, I love all of our fans as
great,
well,
man.
save for that one, and you know who you are.
Yeah.
All right,
no, but seriously, I was going to expand on it. No, what's that shirt? God bless you all, except Dave. Fuck Dave. Whoever it is, like a random shirt or whatever. No, seriously, man. Thank you. I mean, if it wasn't for the Pod Squad, we'd just be 2 guys talking on fucking the internet.
Yep.
And we could just text that,
Yeah.
You guys give us a purpose.
Yeah.
And whatever that purpose is, we're still trying to find it each and every show. But I'm glad you're along for the ride. My goal is to have this be like one of the biggest things ever.
Yep.
Hopefully.
We're not satisfied with like we'll find our nice little niche now, man.
Nah, we want more.
Yeah.
We don't want we're not looking for decimal points. We're looking for whole numbers.
Yep.
For this whole thing.
Trying to find the casual fan over here.
Trying to find a casual fan. Yep. People who just like listen to people talk about dick and fart jokes. And sometimes we get serious.
We do.
We get serious sometimes.
Sometimes it's not a fart. It's a shart.
Yeah.
Nothing's more serious than that.
The shart of the deal. Which is the mind of DeMeanie.
Is that
but
too
seriously,
political? If that's the name of the episode, Shard of the Deal.
Yeah, that's too
Yeah, we
political.
won't do that. We'll find something.
Yeah, I don't need any bots coming after me. But
oh man,
no, seriously, yeah, I don't want this to end. Yeah, this show's been like the highlight of my week.
Yes,
each and every week.
Agreed.
I sound like I'm pandering, but it's a shoot. You know.
No, this is what pandering sounds like. Go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Mind of the Meanie if you would like one of our tremendous shirts made by birthday boy Andy Slichter. Go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Blue Meanie if you'd like to enjoy some BWO merch and some Blue Meanie specific merchandise. Yes, Meanie.
And might I add, I just been giving an email from Pro Wrestling Tees starting this Monday. Use
Today.
Promo code. Yep. Starting today. Wink, wink. Use promo code New Year and save 20% off all Blue Meanie and Mind of the Meanie merchandise on Pro Wrestling Tees.
And they also included ProWrestlingTees.com/So Says Shernoff. You can use promo code New Year that and get yourself a Sarcasm is My Superpower shirt.
That's my favorite shirt.
Or like this great Shernoff premium broadcasting shirt that I'm wearing right now.
That looks like Smirnoff.
Yeah, lots of fun stuff over there. Make sure to follow us on social media at Mind of the Meanie and follow us as individuals at Blue Meanie BWO and at So Says Shernoff. Cameo.com/Blue Meanie BWO.
Absolutely. I did a ton of Christmas and New Year's videos. I could do many more.
Yeah.
Especially happy birthdays.
Valentine's Day is around the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My last anniversary of Mrs. Meanie.
Put on your cherub outfit. Yeah, so I think that's it. What didn't we plug? Oh, make sure that you go to ChellaToys.net if you're outside the U.S. and pre-order the Mind of the Meanie 2-pack featuring myself and the Blue Meanie. We just saw the molds and the test prints and got word today that they are now officially, starting on Monday, going to be in the final stages. How long that takes, I have no idea. But they will be available by the summer. We know that. But I'm thinking way sooner if they're already getting into that stage. They look so damn cool. If you're inside the U.S., make sure that you go to JB Toys and Collectibles.com or just go to him at JB Toys 1 on Instagram. Shoot him a DM. He'll hook you up with some figures. Or join our Patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie. Specific tiers are going to get you those figures. We owe those figures to a couple of you. Yeah, so that's it, Meanie. Anything else?
Again, thank you all for coming along on the ride, and I hope you're all happy, healthy, and safe in this new year of the unknown.
Yes, nothing but good things this year. That's what we want for all of you and all of us as a whole. And we will see you again, hear us again. We'll be back next Monday and every Monday for another trip into the mind of the Meanie.
Blue World Order. The world of MLW radio never stops.